What it is, what it do, what it do. Y'all already know what it is. You tuned in to another episode of Everything Boxing. There you go, talking that boxing again. And when y'all come in the building, make sure that y'all hit my like button and salute to everybody in the building. We got my man Steven Rivas in the building. What's happening with it? John Kramer off in the building. Lucian Dunn, the Dunn off in the building. What's happening with it? Boxing matchups with Dwayne Freeman. What's good with it, Dwayne? We got my partner King Coleon in the building. Mike Rhyme in the building. Jay West, Mr. DBMH. What's happening with it? My man Emmanuel H, the A1 Hoop Zone in the building. Knockout Boxing 86 TV. What's happening with it, Knockout? Main Boxing Biker. What's happening with it? My man Phil J508 is in the building. James, what's happening with it? Box 817 Boxing B off in this thing. What's good with it, 817? I see you still trolling the 49ers, huh? You ain't gonna leave them alone, huh? We got my man General Long in the building. What's happening with it? Ball is in the building. What's good with it? Soldier of God, what's happening with it? My man W Right Side, there you go. What's good with it? Anthony Johnson, what's happening with it? Stan 92, AJ 64, what's good with it? Dirty Red off in the building. There you go, my man Cali Fire off in the building. What's happening with it? The Fans Corner, what's good with it? Blood and Bone, what's happening with it? My man Mark Wonderlick in the building, what's good? And like I said, y'all make sure that y'all smash my like button. It's a lot of things going on in boxing. We got a lot of news to talk about, you know. We're going to talk about later on in the show. We're going to get to EJ, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Man Down himself. He got a tough opponent in front of him. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is counting Ugas out. But Ugas is a tough opponent. So we definitely going to talk about, you know, what EJ got going on over there. And I want to get to some news. And the Queen Cassandra Mason is in the building. Clarence McLean, what's happening with it? I want to touch on some news that's going on around boxing before we get into the main subjects. But one thing I want to touch on is we know that Chris Eubank Jr., he got a fight coming up this month. We in February now, so you know, this is a short month. So Chris Eubank Jr., he got a fight coming up this month against Liam Williams, right? And so Chris Eubank, he just did an interview and he talked about how he going straight after Gennady Golovkin, right? Said he won't Gennady Golovkin after Liam Williams. And I mean, y'all know how I feel about Gennady Golovkin. I ain't rocking with him at all. But at the same time, a fighter like Chris Eubank, it makes sense for him to go after Gennady Golovkin because if you look at the 160-pound weight class, right, Triple G is the biggest name at 160 still. He old, but he's still the biggest name at 160. So it would make sense for Chris Eubank if he could get past Liam Williams. I'm looking for him to get past Liam Williams. It's going to be a good fight because Liam Williams, you know, he gave Demetrius Andrade a hard time. If y'all remember, if y'all go back to that Liam Williams against Demetrius Andrade, he gave Andrade a lot of problems. So I'm looking forward to see how Chris Eubank Jr. do against Liam Williams. You know, interesting fight, exciting fight. I'm looking forward to see, you know, Chris Eubank because he looked like he getting better and better ever since he been with Roy Jones. At first, he was kind of looking a little shaky because it looked like he was trying to implement and fight like Roy Jones a lot, you know, too much. But he's been with Roy for a few years now. So I'm really looking to see how Roy Jones got Chris Eubank looking. You know what I'm saying? Chris Eubank, his last outing, he looked real good, real good. So if he could go out there and put on and really beat the shit out of Liam Williams and put on a better showing than Demetrius Andrade did, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Triple G ain't getting in the ring with him. You know what I'm saying? Triple G ain't looking to get in the ring with nobody that has any ability that's not a bum unless it's Like, he don't want to get in there with nobody but Canelo Alvarez. That's it. This mother, yeah, Cassandra. And salute to the queen, Cassandra Mason. But Cassandra, you know, your dude Triple G, he don't want to fight nobody at all. Real talk. He don't want to fight nobody. He done based his whole career off of what Canelo Alvarez is doing. Begging and meat mushing Canelo Alvarez to get in the ring with him. You know what I'm saying, man? But I'm looking forward to seeing Chris Eubank. My man Knockout Boxing say Liam Williams is definitely live. That fight is 50-50. Yeah, on paper it's 50-50, but we got to see what Chris Eubank is looking like, because we always knew that Chris Eubank had the skills, but I'm looking at him train and I said, this kid got a lot of athleticism. I ain't gonna call him a kid, he a man, but you know, I said this man got a lot of athleticism, right? And he can do a lot of the things that Roy Jones could do. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. He ain't got nowhere near the reflexes and the speed that Roy Jones got. But he got some, you know what I'm saying? He has good speed. He got good reflexes. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing how he look in the ring, you know? And that's going to say a lot, Knockout. If y'all got to understand, Liam Williams, you know what I'm saying? He's a solid opponent. He's a solid opponent. You know what I'm saying? And if Chris Eubank could go in there and get him up out of there, that's going to say a lot. And Gennady Golovkin is going to duck him as well. I'm guaranteeing it. I guarantee you, if Chris Eubank go out there and look good against Liam Williams, Gennady Golovkin ain't going to get in the ring with him. Cassandra, I'm gonna get on this helmet for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Since we talking about Gennady Golovkin, since I'm on him and I don't really talk about him too much, I'm gonna get on this helmet today. And salute to the Queen. Sheena is in the building. King Coleon said, I can't stand Triple G musclehead ass. Man, I'm right there with you, King Coleon. And let's go down memory lane with Triple G, right? So you had Triple G, a man that was in the middleweight division, right? And he dominated the middleweight division for a minute, right? We ain't gonna act like some of them dudes that was at middleweight, they weren't ducking Triple G, because he was getting ducked, right? So he was having to fight all of the other guys like Sergio Martinez. He couldn't get a fight with Sergio Martinez. He couldn't get a fight with Kid Chocolate. For a while, he couldn't get a fight with Daniel Jacobs. So he was fighting all the other dudes in the 160-pound division at middleweight, right? Because a lot of the big names, they was ducking him. We're going to keep it 100. They was ducking him. But you dominating the division. You can't get no fights. You ain't a small guy. Why didn't Triple G ever move up in weight? You know what I'm saying? That was the whole thing. They built his whole name off of all these guys is ducking him. He can't get none of these fights. These dudes, he didn't ran through the whole division. Okay, cool. No problem. Move up in weight. If you compare yourself to greats, move up in weight. Remember, this is the same guy that they was telling you that was better than Bernard Hopkins. They was telling you that Triple G was better than Sugar Ray Robinson. He was better than Roy Jones at middleweight. They was telling you all this. Okay, cool. Move up in weight then. But he never did. At the same time, they was telling you Triple G, he can beat anybody from 160 to 175. He never moved up in weight. Never proved it. So right now, you got fighters like Chris Eubank calling out Triple G. You got a lot of fighters. You got Jamal Charlo calling out Triple G, right? And he still don't want to fight none of these dudes. Only fighter that has a name that he will fight is Canelo. He got a secret obsession with Canelo. And it's like Canelo then told these people at the zone plenty of times over and over again, y'all keep trying to make me fight Triple G, and I'm not fighting Triple G. I don't want to fight Triple G. I beat him already. So now Triple G, I don't know what's going on with that Marat fight. You know what I'm saying? That's two fucking goddamn dummies gonna stand in the ring and just slug it out. That's what you're gonna see with that Marat fight. Triple G, you know, he only want to fight fighters that's gonna stand in the middle of the ring with him, and that's not gonna move. That's why he was crying when he got in the ring with Canelo the first time. And Canelo was, you know, he was boxing him, moving, doing what he could, and he was, you know, boxing Triple G. Triple G wanted, if you look it down his resume, he only fight fighters that's gonna stand right in front of him. The fuck I'm gonna stand right in front of you like a dummy for? You know, but that's the fight that y'all gonna get with Marat. With Chris Eubank, he's more versatile now. You know what I'm saying? Chris Eubank used to struggle with boxers. I think that Chris Eubank, since he got with Roy Jones, he's a lot more versatile. One thing Roy Jones is gonna get you right, he gonna get your footwork right. Roy Jones he had some of the best footwork I ever seen in boxing, and Roy Jones gonna get your feet right. So y'all can look to really see Chris Eubank, improve with his footwork. Mr. Punch Out Boxing MMA, he say Triple G is the biggest hype job in boxing ever. Well, yeah, I agree with you, because I'm not gonna say that Triple G was some trash. He was hella good. You know what I'm saying? He was hella good when he was in his prime at 160. But the reason we say that he's a hype job is because, like I said, they was trying to tell you that he was better than Roy Jones at middleweight. They was trying to tell you that he was better than Bernard Hopkins, Ray Robinson, fucking Marvin Hagler. They was telling you that he was better than all those fighters. That's why we say that he's the biggest hype job. Because how is he better than all those fighters? Who did he beat to be on their level? Nobody. So, you know, that's just how I feel about the situation. But so that's the news. You got my man Chris Eubank Jr. If he get past Liam Williams, he's saying he calling out Triple G and he going straight after Triple G. Well, I want to let everybody in the chat know, and y'all hit my like button. Salute to everybody in the chat. I see you, A. Sneed, Raymond Martinez, Hamilton Steele, Nitty G. I see everybody in the chat. Smash on my like button if y'all ain't hit the like button. But I want to let Chris Eubank know and everybody else know. Him and Triple G, that fight is not happening. It ain't happening. You know? But other news. Let me give y'all some more news, you know what I'm saying, that's going down. So, Arthur Beterbiev, right? They looking to make a unification bout this summer. They already in the talks to get this popping with Arthur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr., right? Arthur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. in the summertime in New York, right? Madison Square Garden, New York. They trying to get this popping for the summertime. I like that fight. It's a unification bout, you know. It's bringing us closer to seeing Undisputed at light heavyweight, right? So I like that fight. I like Arthur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. But I'm going to tell you right now, right? And I'm not even going to wait and talk about it down the line. Arthur Beterbiev is going to destroy Joe Smith Jr. Joe Smith Jr. is the perfect opponent for Arthur Beterbiev to look amazing against. You know why? Because Joe Smith Jr., he's slow. He don't have no feet. And he going to be right there in front of you. Now, he do got some pop, but he ain't got no defense neither. Arthur Beterbiev is going to destroy Joe Smith Jr. So, Joe Smith Jr., he might as well go find Arthur Beterbiev right now and hand him over that belt and let him know that he conceded to victory already, because Joe Smith Jr. ain't got a motherfucking cold chance in hell. He ain't got a freezing cold chance in hell to beat Arthur Beterbiev. He getting stopped. And it's going to look real bad. Y'all thought that shit with Marcus Browning looked bad? Marcus Browning, he can move a little bit to save himself. You know what I'm saying? Joe Smith Jr., he going to go out on his shield. He going to try to let his nuts hang. And that's that's going to be a problem. Joe Smith Jr., he going to let his nuts hang. So for the fans, this is a great fight for the fans because as long as it lasts, we going to get a treat. If you like knockdown, motherfucking drag out, one-sided fights, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. Because it's going to get real ugly. This shit going to get ugly like Seal and motherfucking Grace Jones had a baby, y'all. That shit going to get real ugly. So, yeah, they looking to make this fight in the summer. I think it's probably going to be like in May sometime. So, that's going to be a great fight. Yeah, Anthony Johnson, he definitely gets stopped. 817 say he gets stopped in 5. Yeah, the fight all the way live and Joe Smith going out in 5. Yeah, man, I'm telling y'all, shit gonna get real ugly. If y'all know who Grace Jones is and y'all know who Seal is, imagine them two having a baby. That's how ugly it's gonna get. Ultimate Fight Club, my man in the building. One of the best trainers in the whole wide world, y'all. My man, Ultimate Fight Club. And y'all go check out his channel and sub to him. He said they probably not going to fight. He said they announced being in talks to fight on 3 different occasions. Nothing happened. I think now it's time. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think, the zone, the network, they want big fights over there. They want big fights. And we look at Arthur Beterbiev, he getting a lot older. So they got to let him get in what he needs to get in very soon. And then you look at Joe Smith Jr. They pretty much look at Joe Smith and they say, okay, you know what I'm saying? We pretty much got all the money that we can get out of Joe Smith. And I mean, like, you know, because anytime you got a white champion, that's going to bring a lot of viewership. But ain't nobody really paying attention to Joe Smith no more. You know what I'm saying? Joe Smith had that motherfucking, that construction, that white man construction, you know, worker story. They built that story for a minute, but nobody's paying attention to Joe Smith no more. Wait, no, that's on Top Rank. Because Joe Smith he was fighting over there on the zone, but now he on Top Rank. But anyway, it's the thing, like they can't really build on Joe Smith no more. You know what I'm saying? He fought the Bernard Hopkins. He had some big fights, and they put a backstory behind Joe Smith, you know. But they can't really build on him no more. And I think that Top Rank really see that. So they like, fuck it. We're gonna put him in the ring now. Right? We're gonna put him in the ring, make this big unification bout, because ESPN, this is like we was talking about yesterday. ESPN want big fights. Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez ain't want no parts of that fight. ESPN want that fight. They want big unification bouts. So I think it's gonna happen this time. I really do think it's gonna happen this time. And Joe Smith, you know what I'm saying? Joe Smith ain't gonna duck no smoke. That's one thing I gotta get at Joe Smith. He ain't the type of person to duck smoke. Joe Smith, he gonna get in there, he gonna get his ass beat, and it's gonna be real, real bad. It's gonna be real ugly. But he ain't gonna duck. He not gonna duck Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? One thing I can say about Joe Smith is, like I said, he gonna let his nuts hang. He's not going to be viewed as a ducker. So I think that fight going to happen. And we know Arthur Beterbiev, he'll pretty much fight anybody. Mike on Sports, what's happening with it, Mike? You got that PS5 yet, Mike? Mr. Punch Out Boxing MMA say Valdez getting body bagged by Shakur. Oh, he knows that. I don't even got to say that. We know that. He know that. You feel what I'm saying? He know that. Just like Jamel Herring knew it. And I respect Jamel Herring because, like I said, before Jamel Herring and Shakur Stevenson fought, he was kind of, we seen it. He ain't want to get in there with, he wanted Oscar Valdez. He didn't really want to get in there with Shakur Stevenson, even though he knew that him and Shakur, right? He knew that he was going to have to fight Shakur Stevenson if he beat Frampton. So it was already said that he was going to have to fight Shakur if he beat Frampton. He knew that Shakur had been waiting for months and months and months and months, sitting on the sideline waiting for his chance, right? So he already knew that. And then when Harrington came, when Jamel Herring, when he came out, and start calling out Oscar Valdez and try to act like Shakur Stevenson didn't exist, I, myself, on Facebook, I called him out. And I said, bro, you knew you were going to have to fight this man. Why you moving like that? And I respect Heron because Heron, you know what I'm saying? He answered the call out. And he told me, look, I feel what you're saying. I understand how you feel about the situation. He says, but you know what? Since you saying it like that, I'm going to fight Shakur Stevenson. I'll fight him. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to respect you if you keep your word. And he kept his word. He was a man of his word. You know what I'm saying? So I always got the utmost respect for Jamel Herring. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how he feel about me, I got the utmost respect for Jamel Herring because Jamel Herring knew he couldn't beat Shakur Stevenson. He didn't been in the ring with the man a million times. He knew. But, hey, he still got in there and did what he had to do. J.A. Dixon said, I can't blame Herring for trying to unify, but yeah, the thing is you already knew what the play was. You knew this man had been waiting for you. So that's why I had a problem with that. My man, Mr. Punch Out Boxing and MMA, salute to you, man, in that super chat. Appreciate you coming through, showing love. And y'all smash the like button. Y'all hit my like button. You're in the building, smash the like button. But, you know, so that's a fight after Beterbiev and Joe Smith. I'm looking forward to that fight, right? Another real good fight. Real good fight for the fans. That's a fans fight. You know what I'm saying? And it's a unification bout. So you can't complain and cry about that fight. Hell of a fight. One thing I want to get into before I touch on these main topics, right? And y'all hit my like button. Y'all get the likes up. Andrew Ruiz. Let's talk about Mr. Andrew Ruiz Jr., right? So, Andrew Ruiz Jr., he has an opportunity. For him, it should be a lifetime opportunity because we see Andrew Ruiz get a chance out of nowhere, right? He got a chance out of nowhere when he got the call to fight Anthony Joshua, right? And he took advantage of that chance. Then he had a chance to really solidify himself and prove to everybody, I beat Anthony Joshua. I'm going to come back even stronger, and it ain't no fucking fluke. I'm going to show everybody it's not a fluke. And he came fat, out of shape. Motherfucker was eating pizza in the fucking locker room. Came in the ring weighing over 300 pounds. It was breathing hard as fuck like he needed an oxygen tank and couldn't even move. And stood there in front of Anthony Joshua and let Anthony Joshua move around him like Anthony Joshua was a goddamn flyweight and just outbox his ass for 12 straight rounds, right? He embarrassed himself. And he embarrassed everybody that put money on Andrew Ruiz. He embarrassed himself and everybody around him. So at that point in time, me, myself, I can't speak for nobody else, but at that point in time, I said, look, I don't ever want to see this fat, sloppy motherfucker get another chance. Straight up. I said, all that shit, he got a chance of a lifetime. This y'all don't know. I know cats that was in the gym training with Andy Ruiz when he got the call for Anthony Joshua, right? I knew that he was going to fight Anthony Joshua pretty much before anybody knew it. I knew it a week before they announced it, right? So he was sleeping on the couch a little bit before that. The man didn't even have money. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. I don't want to get into his business, but you get a lifetime chance like that, right? And you take advantage of that. Now you get a chance to solidify yourself. Everything that everybody was saying about you, that it was a fluke. Anthony Joshua, he had a concussion coming into the fight, this, and that. You had a chance to solidify and prove everybody wrong. Your ass come in the fucking ring, out of shape, sloppy, and all that. So, nah, you didn't deserve another chance, right, in my eyes. But they gave you another chance. They put you on pay-per-view, and they tried to build you up again, right? So now you get a chance, another chance to become the mandatory for the IBF championship. So you can see yourself fighting potentially, you know what I'm saying, if Fury decide to, not retire and continue fighting, you can see yourself fighting either Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk or Anthony Joshua again. You know what I'm saying? However it goes. So you get the chance to be right back in the thick of things. They call Andrew Ruiz up. They say, hey, you know what? We got Philip Hrgović. And if y'all don't know who Philip Hrgović is, for the people, because I know a lot of people might not know by the name, but if I pull up his picture, y'all gonna know who he is. So I'm pull up his picture. So y'all, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna share it on my screen so y'all, you know what I'm saying, know his face. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna share this on my screen for the people that don't, you know what I'm saying, know who he is, because I do that shit sometimes. I know a fighter, but I just don't know him by name. And then I see him, I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know who that is. Yeah, hold on. Let me share the screen. So that's Philip Hrgović. The big dude, I think he is, I forget where he's from, right? That's him right there, y'all, right? He fight on DAZN. He look like a monster, but he ain't really, you know what I'm saying? He ain't had that step up in competition yet, right? So that's him. So they call Andrew Ruiz and they say, hey, we want you to fight Philip Hrgović and for a final eliminator. You know what I'm saying? We want you to fight him for a final eliminator. And if you can beat him, it's going to make you the mandatory for the IBF strap. This motherfucker said no. All of a sudden, he got another injury. Now, Andrew Ruiz has a history of faking injuries when he got to fight somebody that he don't want to fight. Right? He has a history of faking injuries when he has to fight somebody that he don't want to fight. Nah, he never fought Kawanaki. Adam Kawanaki. He never fought him, right? If you go back to when they called up Andrew Ruiz and said, hey, we trying to put a big fight on with you and Luis Ortiz. Oh, I got an injury. This motherfucker got a history of faking injuries. You ain't injured. I'm going to tell y'all why Bob Arum got rid of Andrew Ruiz. Because he is not disciplined. He don't stay in shape. Yeah, when Andrew Ruiz is in shape, because he gonna be all up in the fucking camera, you know what I'm saying? Photoshopping pics and taking angle shots, making himself look skinny and all that shit, right? But you ain't seen nothing from Andrew Ruiz lately. The motherfucker ain't injured. He's just not dedicated to the sport. He go up and down in weight. He blow up and come down, blow up. That's been his whole career. That's why motherfucking Bob Arum got rid of his ass. He knew who Andrew Ruiz was. Sheena say, isn't Andrew Ruiz doping? He might be, Sheena, but I can't put that jacket on him because he ain't never tested positive. So, you know. But, you know what I'm saying? This shit is ridiculous that after he just wants somebody to hand him a fucking title. Why are you turning down a fight with Philip Hrgović to become the IBF mandatory? They giving this motherfucker Ruiz more chances. I mean, come on, he get chance after chance after chance. But like I said, now, they give him a call to fight Hrgović, and all of a sudden, he don't want to fight because he injured. Man, I said, man, this motherfucker for real. He said the same shit when he got the call to fight Luis Ortiz. I don't want to fight because I'm injured. No, bitch, you don't want to fight him because your ass ain't dedicated to the sport. You probably sloppy and fat again, and you just don't, you know what I'm saying? You. I don't want to say he's scared, but he don't want to take another L. You know what I'm saying? They giving Andrew Ruiz chance after chance. Like, this motherfucker got to fight on pay-per-view versus Chris Arreola. Who else getting chances like that? Come on. You get to fight on pay-per-view versus Chris Arreola? Now we seen that Rice shit and all that, but Andrew Ruiz and Chris Arreola started off that shit. Pay-per-view, and I'm talking about pay-per-views to where you look at and you like, what the fuck? They putting this shit on pay-per-view now? James, that's exactly what it is, James. He's scared to work hard. He don't want to lose weight. Yeah, see, he want to lose weight, but he don't want to put in the work consistently to have to get down and get in tip-top shape and lose weight. Dirty Red said this would be a perfect time for Wilder to throw his name in the hat. You know what? With the Wilder, I got to disagree with that, Dirty Red, and I see where you're coming from, and I would agree with you, but the only reason I don't agree with you on Wilder is because Wilder is talking about retiring, right? So with me, like I always say, if you're talking about retiring, you need to just go and retire, because once you got that in your head, you can't really be the same fighter that you was. And once you got, oh, I'm going to retire, you go out there. Boxing, you can't play with boxing. Wilder's subject to go out there and get hurt by any of these young guns right now because he got retiring in his head. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't have 1 foot in the sport and 1 foot out the sport. So once you start, like, I don't know if I want to fight no more. I don't know if I want to retire. I might fight, but I'm thinking about retiring. No, you don't need to fight no more, especially in the heavyweight division. It's too dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Because all these dudes is looking at Wilder as a fucking big payday. If I can knock him off, I can get to that next level. Nah, you don't need to. You don't need to do it. Wilder, I want Wilder retired now. You know what I'm saying? I want him to just go ahead and retire now. He did everything that he needed to in his career. He even beat Tyson Fury. In my opinion, he beat Tyson Fury the first fight. The first fight he beat Tyson Fury because I had Wilder winning the first 3 to 4 rounds. And then I had him winning 2 more rounds after that. So if you tally up the scorecards, he won that fight. Plain and simple. I gave him the first 3 rounds, definitely. And then you give him 2 more rounds with the knockdowns, you won that fight. You know what I'm saying? I was at that fight. Right there. On the floor. Right up on the ring. Live. And then I got to watch the fight several times on TV. And I had the same score that I did when I watched it live. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. That's past tense. So, Flawless Mentality, Black Excellence Podcast, salute to you. Oh, dog, that's my man Mark Stearns. Salute to you. Okay, yeah, y'all go show love to my man Mark Stearns. And you can drop your link in the chat, Mark. Drop your link in the chat. Y'all go show love to Mark Stearns and, you know, to his new channel. Show love to his new channel he got on YouTube. And like I said, man, you can drop your link in the chat, Mark. But so, yeah, you know, that's just how I feel about the situation. But anyway, Juan Ramos, what's happening with it? And the count was long as hell. So it was a lot of shit that went on. And I'm not even going to the second fight. It is a lot of shit that went on in that first fight. In my opinion, Deontay Wilder should have got the win, the W. So that's it. I don't think that Wilder should come back to fight nobody right now. Manny say Wilder should come back for an AJ fight. He gonna starch AJ. I don't think so. You know why? Because AJ is dangerous also. You dig what I'm saying? Now, before, I told everybody, I said Wilder gonna knock AJ out. AJ ain't gonna get past 3 or 4 rounds with Wilder. Now, I don't feel that way because AJ is not, he don't have retiring in the back of his mind, right? He still got the mind of a hungry fighter. Like I said, and I just feel that with any fighter, when you have in your mind that you want to retire, you can't get in there with no dangerous heavyweight like AJ. He can still punch. He's still dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just not because, you know, you're not going to be able to give the effort. Just like Sean Porter. We ain't never seen Sean Porter get dropped twice like he did, slobbering all out the mouth. We never seen Sean Porter. We never even seen Sean Porter really hurt. Really. Like, I'm talking about, like, and he wasn't even hurt like that with Terrence Crawford, but we seen Sean Porter go down to the ground and his glove swipe the ground, right? With Errol Spence and hop right back up, right? We seen Sean Porter get a flash knockdown, suffer a flash knockdown versus Adrian Broner, right? Wasn't hurt. But with Terrence Crawford, we never seen Sean Porter get dropped. I'm talking about all the way dropped back on the ground. And like I said, just frustrated. And we never seen him like we did when he fought Crawford. And the reason we seen him like that is because he had 1 foot out of the sport. He was already talking about retiring behind the scenes. He said he already knew that he was going to retire, win, lose, or draw. That was it. So, yeah, so when we go back to Wilder, he already got retiring in his head. He don't want to fight no more. He pretty much like, okay, I could come back or I could retire. No, you need to retire now. Because you go out there and you get hurt real bad playing around in the heavyweight division. And I think that Wilder knows that. You know what I'm saying? Deontay Wilder, he knows that. He knows that you don't play boxing. He knows that if I'm not all the way committed and I've got retiring on my mind, I might as well just sit it out and retire. You know, my man KQKC Boxing Network in the building. What's happening with it, KQ? Wow. Yeah, KQ in the building. I just got done rocking with KQ. You know, great show always. And if y'all not subscribed to KQKC, make sure that y'all go check out KQKC Boxing Network. And he show all the fights and he call all the fights every weekend. You know what I'm saying? If you watching the fight, even if you want to watch the fight and you want to turn your volume down because you don't want to hear no biased ass commentary, turn your volume down, watch the fight on your TV, but go to KQKC and listen to him call the fight play by play. Ruben Langford said primetime Chris Colbert. Yeah, he fighting. Who is he fighting? Gutierrez, I think. Yes, sir. So, with that being said, you know, Andrew Ruiz, I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to hear nothing about Andrew Ruiz. I'm gonna be mad as hell if they get his sloppy motherfucker another chance, right, to challenge for a title, and he ain't got to do no motherfucker. He don't got to do shit to get there. You know what I'm saying? Stop giving Andrew Ruiz shit on the platter. Make this motherfucker work for that shit. You don't want to fight Philip Hergovich? Okay, get in the back of the line and wait then. You're going to have to fight somebody to earn your way back up to that spot. That's just how I feel about that. Mad Capper say, hey, bro, who do you say the best boxer of all time is? This is my opinion. Because like I said, so when people ask me that, I give the same answer every time. And I'm going to give y'all my reason to why I give this answer, right? I wasn't alive, obviously, when Sugar Ray Robinson was fighting. I've seen a lot of footage, old film and tape on Sugar Ray Robinson, right? But I wasn't alive. So that means that a lot of those opponents that I saw him fight, I didn't know who they was, and I didn't know who they fought. So I didn't know how good they were. See, it's easy for people to say, okay, well, Sugar Ray Robinson. Ain't nobody in this chat was alive when Sugar Ray Robinson was fighting. So when for me, I'm a resume guy. So I know some of the fighters that Sugar Ray Robinson fought, the backstory on them, right? But a whole lot of them fighters, I had no idea who they was. I don't know who they fought, right? I don't know who you is. I don't know who you be. So I can't say, in my opinion, that Sugar Ray Robinson was the best ever fighter that I ever seen, right? I can't say that. I wouldn't lie to see him. Then you got other people that'll say, well, Muhammad Ali. I think Muhammad Ali was fucking great. I done seen pretty much all of Muhammad Ali's fights. Going back to young Muhammad Ali, I done seen his fights. even though I wasn't born, but I was able to, and I know a lot of Muhammad Ali's opponents. And I think if you compare Muhammad Ali's resume to anybody's resume, he at the top of that, right? You could put Muhammad Ali's resume up there with anybody's resume in big fights. So but like I said, I wouldn't say Muhammad Ali. He up there. But to me, right? So a lot of great fighters I done seen in my lifetime. But to me, I'm gonna tell y'all, Roy Jones, because what I do is I measure a fighter prime for prime. When you say who was the best fighter I ever seen, I gotta measure a fighter prime for prime. Bruce Goes, what's happening with it? Salute. Prime for prime. Right? And with that being said, like I said, I didn't get to see Sugar Ray Robinson prime in his prime fighting the best fight, the best. I don't know, but prime for prime, Roy Jones was he was that dude right behind me, him right here, prime for prime. I don't care how fundamental Roy was, prime for prime. Whatever y'all think, you know what I'm saying? Nobody was fucking with Roy Jones prime for prime. When Roy Jones was in his prime and Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather was in his prime, it wasn't no comparison. The gap between the number one pound for pound fighter in the world and then the second was Floyd Mayweather, it was a wide gap though. It wasn't no comparison. Floyd wasn't doing the shit that Roy Jones was doing in his prime. See, a lot of people forget about Roy Jones in his prime. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people forget about Roy Jones in his prime. Don't come on here talking about no motherfucking Antonio Tarver to me. How many times, outside the box media, how many times Antonio Tarver got caught using roids? More times you can count on one hand, right? But we ain't even gonna talk about the roids, right? Antonio Tarver did not fight Roy Jones in his prime. When we say, listen, I'm going to say it slow. I'm going to slow it down for y'all. I said Roy Jones in his prime. I said prime for prime. When you saw Antonio Tarver and Roy Jones fight, Roy Jones was no longer in his prime. Roy Jones had moved up all the way to heavyweight, packed on 25 pounds of muscle, and went and beat the dog shit out of Ruiz. Right? He went and beat the dog shit out of Ruiz. Then he came back down in way less than a year. He came all the way back down, right? Skipped over cruiserweight and came all the way back down to light heavyweight, and then had to fight Antonio Tarver. That once he went up and then came back down and drained himself of all that muscle, he wasn't in his prime no more. So that's why I make it clear to say Roy Jones in his prime for prime, right? Because you cannot say who is the best fighter that you've ever seen, and then we go and we compare older Roy Jones to a prime Floyd, and you got to compare them at the same stage of their career when they were both in their prime. And that's how I do it. Because if you say who is the best fighter overall, right? If you use the word overall throughout their whole career, well, then you got to give it to Floyd. Because Floyd ain't never fell off. You got to give it to Floyd over Sugar Ray. You got to give it to Floyd over everybody because he never fell off. You know what I'm saying? He was able to retire and fight all the best and go out with his O, and he never lost. So you got to get that to Floyd. But prime for prime, the best fighter I ever seen is Roy Jones. You feel me? It's just what it is. General Law said, nah, Ray Leonard, Roy Chan was suspect. My dude, Roy Chan was never suspect. When was Roy Chen suspect in his prime? Like I said, you got to take that word and you got to highlight that word, prime. Because Roy Jones Chen was never suspect in his prime. You know what I'm saying? When y'all try to go up all the way to heavyweight and then shrink back down and lose 25 pounds of muscle within a 6-month span. Do that and then tell me how well your chin gonna hold up. He ain't had no chin after that shit. If Roy Jones' chin was suspect, when he fought, he was probably like what? I think Roy Jones was probably like, and I'm not counting I'm not gonna count that disqualification loss that they gave him with Montel Griffith, right? But if you count, he was probably like, he should have been probably like what? 48-0. You know what I'm saying? Roy Jones was probably close to 48-0, 49-0 when he went and fought Tarver. So if 48, 49 fights, 50 fights, or whatever he had, if he had a suspect chin General Long, we would have known it long before the Antonio Tarver fight. And that's a fact. Knockout Boxing 86 TV said, kind of like Bo Jackson and Emmitt Smith, prime for prime. Jackson was better, but Smith lasted longer. Roy was better at his best. Floyd just lasted. Exactly, Knockout. And y'all go sub to my brother Knockout Boxing 86 TV. Y'all go sub to Knockout. Exactly, Knockout. I couldn't have said it no better myself. If you look at Bo Jackson in his prime, anybody that know anything about football that got two set of eyes, I mean one set of eyes, I said two set of eyes, that got two eyes, they know that Bo Jackson was way better than Emmitt Smith in his prime. Bo Jackson, he just didn't have the longevity that Emmitt Smith did. Yeah, and anybody that know Barry Sanders, and I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboy, and you couldn't tell me shit about Emmitt Smith back in the day, right? But come on. Everybody know that Barry Sanders was way better than Emmitt Smith. If Barry Sanders had the line that Emmitt Smith had, we still have running backs right now chasing Barry Sanders' record and not Emmitt Smith's record. Sweet Pea Whitaker, middleweight, James Toney, Floyd, Ray Leonard, and Winky Wright was my top 5. AJ the P, let me ask you a question. And I'm not, and I, I just want to know a question. AJP, what you think about Canelo Alvarez? And I want AJP to answer this question. What you think about Canelo Alvarez? Real quick, AJ. Answer that question. Let me know what you think about Canelo Alvarez. And I'm asking this question for a reason. Yeah, Barry Sanders was that dude. If Barry Sanders had a line that Emmitt Smith had, that shit wouldn't even been fair. Yeah, answer that question for me, AJP. You still in the building. What you think about Canelo Alvarez? Okay. Well, he ain't answered the question, but Terry Roby Sr. And Boxing Eyes Eagle, y'all think that James Toney was better than Canelo? Boxing Eyes Eagle and Tory Robbie Sr. Do y'all think that James Toney is better than Canelo? Answer the question. Because I fuck with James, like James Toney heavy. So let me answer the question. I want them to answer the question. Tony Roby Sr. and Boxing Eyes and Boxing Eagle's Eyes. Tory Roby Sr. said, on the even playing field, hell yeah. Right? So he said, hell yeah. Right? Okay. Now, the reason I asked Tory Roby Sr., and I asked, and I asked the other dude in the chat, the reason I asked that question, right, is because they put PEDs, right? They put needles. Now, listen to what I'm saying. Boxing Eagle Eye says, yes, he is better than Canelo. He says, I don't fuck with PEDs, man. Now, let me tell now, y'all walked right into that shit, right? Y'all didn't even know where I was going with that, but you walked right into it. Now, if you ask me, I fuck with James Toney, one of the greatest fighters ever, right? But if you putting needles in meat and saying that he's a PED user in the chat, well, newsflash, James Toney got caught on steroids a whole lot of times. But see, this is my problem, right? This is my problem when we go there. When you bring up Canelo, that's the first thing everybody want to talk about is he's a PED user. We put needles and meat in the chat. But when we talk about James Toney, we say he's an all-time great. James Toney is this and he's great and he this. Well, James Toney, he failed drug tests on many occasions. He got caught using steroids on more than one occasion. Canelo Alvarez got caught one time. Canelo Alvarez, right? Now he takes blood and urine testing. When James Toney was fighting, it wasn't no blood testing. So James Toney got caught. He had so much shit in his system, he was pissing it out. Right? They wouldn't even having James Toney take blood testing because that shit wasn't in boxing back then. So a lot of shit in your system that the fighters was taking back then, you couldn't even find it because they didn't do Olympic-style drug testing. Now Canelo Alvarez takes Olympic-style drug testing, right? So all I'm saying, if you're going to shit on Canelo and call him a PED user, some of your favorite fighters like James Toney, you got to keep the same energy. And I'm going to move along now. That's all I have to say about that. I'm going to move along. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to keep it real with me, but keep it real with yourself. That's why I don't get on Canelo's help. Like I got on Canelo. And I shitted on him for the longest time when he got popped using PEDs. You know what I'm saying? Go back to, my YouTube's, the videos is still up. I shitted on him for a long time. But after a while, I said, okay, I'm going to have to get off this man's helmet about that because he taking drug tests every fight. And now, you know what I'm saying? We got to get off his helmet for that shit. We got to move on. You feel me? I'm never going to let a fucking man like just take over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all let this shit get to you too much. You got to move on. Right. And so with that being said, it's a lot of my favorite fighters that in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, they got popped doing drugs on PEDs. But when I talk about them, I don't bring that up. So when I talk about Canelo, I don't bring it up because he only got popped one time, right? No, Isaiah Jones, James Toney wasn't clear to shit. Don't come in here with that bullshit. James Toney was not clear to shit. James Toney got caught on steroids on several different occasions, not just one. So like I said, if you ain't going to talk about James Toney and the rest of your favorite fighters like you do Canelo, well, don't bring that up when you talk about Canelo because, yeah, you have a right to crucify him for doing it, right? But when are you going to let that shit go? You going to talk about it the rest of your life and the rest of his career? You know what I'm saying? You got to let that shit go. He tested positive, right? Everybody know he tested positive. Now he just fought motherfucking Caleb Plant and did 10 straight weeks of blood and urine testing. If that ain't enough, what the fuck is enough? Come on, man. Y'all got to get off the shit. So, like I said, So, let's just keep it. We got to keep it straight down the middle, because y'all can't pick and choose who y'all, talk about PD use and all that shit, and then get quiet when it comes to your favorite fighter. That's it. But let's move along. Jay West. So since I see a lot of y'all in the comments, and y'all keep talking about this, right? Y'all keep talking about this, right? You said they changed the acceptable levels of drug choice, right? Clenbuterol, right? Now, for one, and like I said, I'm not no diehard Canelo fan. I'm just the dude that keeps shit straight down the middle and talk about shit from a outside perspective. Like when I talk about shit like this, I'm not no motherfucking fanboy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't talk about it from a hate perspective. So when people want to say they changed the levels, okay. They changed the levels, right? Because they noticed that if you got a picogram of fucking clenbuterol in your system, let's talk about, they didn't just change the levels for Canelo Alvarez. VADA changed the levels, right? They changed the levels because they say if you got a picogram in your system, well, we know that shit could be from anything. That could be from eating a certain type of food. That doesn't give you no type of enhancement. If you got a picogram of clenbuterol in your system, it doesn't enhance you in no type of way. Just like when John Jones had a picogram of whatever he had in his system. They let John Jones fight because they was like, okay, well, it could have been from anything. It could have been from, his use from years ago or whatever. So he can still fight because that doesn't enhance your performance in no type of way. It don't enhance your performance. You feel me? It don't enhance your performance. First of all, Grind Hard Sports Nation, for you to come in here and talk about, oh, well, they didn't change the limits for James Toney, that shit is irrelevant, because when James Toney was fighting, they didn't even have blood testing at all. They didn't test for no motherfucking clenbuterol when James Toney was fighting. If y'all know anything about clenbuterol was actually, it wasn't illegal for a long time. For a long time, clenbuterol was actually legal to take. And then they banned it. Clenbuterol wasn't even on the banned substance list for a long time. So, do your research before you talk about things. A lot of y'all don't even know what clenbuterol really is. I know what it is. I know what it does. And I believe that Canelo Alvarez was taking clenbuterol. I ain't one of them motherfuckers that gonna tell you, oh, well, they found it in his hair sample and he wasn't guilty. Nah, he was taking clenbuterol, and I'm gonna let y'all know why he was taking clenbuterol. And I'm gonna go back to a story way back when Canelo Alvarez fought Amir Khan. And I hung out with Amir Khan after he was knocked out by Canelo Alvarez. And I was talking, and a lot of y'all heard me tell this story before. I was talking to Amir Khan in the lobby, right? We was going back and forth. We was talking, and I said, man, so how hard does Canelo hit? He was like, well, I didn't even feel the punch. I didn't see it. I didn't feel nothing. You know what I'm saying? He was knocked out. He said, but I'll tell you like this. He says, Canelo Alvarez is fucking big as fuck, dude. This is what he said. He said, Canelo Alvarez is big as fuck, dude. He says, tonight, Canelo, because, they have to weigh in. They have the weigh-ins on the night of the fight after both fighters rehydrate. And he said, Canelo weighed in tonight. He weighed in at I think he said 187, 88 pounds. He was like, he was fucking big. He weighed in at 187, 188 tonight. He said, so what I feel about Canelo, he says, I feel that he needs to step up and fight Triple G. He needs to fight somebody his size. Those are his exact words. And I said, damn, he was weighing 187, 88 pounds. That's a big motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Damn, he hydrated that much. And remember, I think they fought at 157 or 156, something like that, right? So I said, damn, They hydrated that much. So I say that to say this. The reason he was taking clenbuterol is because he needed fucking, you know what I'm saying? He needed something to help him shed them pounds and get down to 160 pounds, right? Without draining himself out. And that's what clenbuterol does. It helps you shed pounds without draining yourself so you can keep muscle mass, but you can, you know what I'm saying? You can cut down that weight because when you take clenbuterol and you working out, like I said, a lot of y'all don't know shit about clenbuterol. I had clenbuterol. I never took it myself, but I gave it to my partner, and my partner was using it, right? So he would tell me, I'd be like, man, how did it work? And he would tell me. So when he would work out, that shit would have him sweat. Like he would just be pouring with sweat when he was working out, right? He was cutting weight easily. He was pouring with sweat when he would work out and take the clenbuterol. So it helped him. And then after like he got it built up in his system, it made him sweat more. And then it also it helped him, like, you know what I'm saying? It helped him work out better. So if he was stuck at, say, and I'll just use bench press as a example, if he was stuck at doing 10 reps, once he got that clenbuterol in his system, he was able to do 12 reps. It helped him out to be able to work out harder and longer. So that's what it really do. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why Canelo Alvarez was really using clenbuterol. He needed that shit in the system to help him cut weight and help him, you know what I'm saying? Because if he was weighing in, if he was fighting Amir Khan at a catch weight of like 156, 157, and then he go all the way up to 160, right? And he fighting Amir Khan and he was weighing in on fight night at 188. Well, the motherfucker was big and he needed some help to help him cut weight. But now, not so much. Now he's fighting at 168 pounds. And that's why he's fighting there, because now he can make the weight more easy. But yeah, y'all. My man Zenith 360 says clenbuterol was originally created as a drug to treat respiratory issues. He says byproduct, it helps with building lean muscle and cuts fat. Notice Canelo used to faint in later rounds and don't anymore. Well, see, y'all get a narrative or a story and run with it, right? You say that Canelo was always fainting in later rounds. No, we seen him maybe in the first Triple G fight. We might have seen him get tired in the later rounds, but you can't give me a whole plethora of fights where you say, oh, Canelo just faints and everything. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's a story when y'all saw that shit once. See, what people do in boxing, this is what I don't like, because y'all get a fighter that y'all just hate. Y'all just hate. And then y'all keep a different energy with that certain fighter that y'all hate than y'all do other fighters. When Canelo name is brought up, y'all have a whole different energy with him. We could be talking about the same subject with another fighter, but y'all have a whole different energy than y'all do with another fighter. When Canelo name brought up, it's a whole different energy. You know what I'm saying? With me, I'm going to keep the same energy with any fighter. All of them. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't never one of these motherfuckers paying me. Ain't none of these fighters saying, hey, here, you know what I'm saying? Here, cut of my paycheck. I ain't like that shit don't affect me like that. Y'all let certain shit, y'all take that shit too personal. And I could just feel it. I'm keeping it 100. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping it 100. Y'all take that shit too personal. Y'all take that shit so personal, it'll be a certain person that talk about a fighter, and y'all don't like him just because he like that fighter. It ain't that, but this is boxing. Ain't none of y'all niggas getting paid. Getting none of these niggas paychecks, right? Errol Spence, Wilder, fucking Canelo Alvarez, ain't none of these niggas calling y'all and saying, you know what? Here's a cut of my paycheck. I don't take this shit that serious. That's why I can talk about all of these fighters on the same. You know what I'm saying? It's certain fighters I like, I don't like, but when I get to talking about them, I'm not gonna go overboard. You know what I'm saying? Bro, that's just what it is. But at the end of the day, like, he did what he did. You know what I'm saying? My stance on Canelo is the motherfucker took clenbuterol. And I don't know how long he was doping before that. I'm pretty sure he was taking clenbuterol a while before he got caught, right? But since then, he got caught because he was taking random blood and urine testing. So he got caught. Since then, he's been taking random blood and urine testing, and he's passed all of his drug testings. We got to let that shit go. Every time we bring up Canelo Alvarez, y'all got to stop talking about, oh, he's PED using, and start talking about and breaking down these fights. Because what it's doing is y'all picking him to lose every time just off of hate. And y'all want to see him lose so bad just off of hate. But y'all got to realize some of y'all favorite fighters got caught using PEDs and y'all didn't have that same energy for them. That's it. KQKC, what's happening with it? And we got my man Money Brown TV in the building. You know, KQ say, on me wrote, my man KQ say, talk to him. He said, talk to him, Key. He says, that's right. No emotional attachment. Right. KQKC, that's right. Some people, they just get so emotionally attached to a fighter. Like, come on, man. Some of these dudes, they hate Canelo Alvarez so fucking bad, and that shit just irks them. Every time somebody says, I don't like that shit don't affect me like that, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We all grown-ass men. Let's act like grown-ass men. Ain't none of these fighters giving us shit. So if I didn't have the, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all gotta understand what I'm saying. James Toney is that people think the world of James Toney, right? A lot of people think the world of Antonio Tarver, right? But when we talk about James Toney and when we talk about Antonio Tarver, y'all don't get mad like you do when you talk about Canelo Alvarez. So if I can't fucking bite blood out the bottom of my lip every time somebody talks about James Toney or Antonio Tarver, why should I do it? Or why do I have to feel that way when somebody talks about Canelo Alvarez? Think about that shit. Y'all ask yourself that. Y'all, next time you get just steaming mad and you want to go into a full-on debate just because you hear the name Canelo Alvarez brought up, and you just get super mad, ask yourself, did I get this mad when we would talk about James Toney or motherfucking what's his name? The Mexican dude that Danny Garcia fought twice. The legend. What's his name? What's his name? The Mexican legend that I don't know why I can't think of his fucking name. Morales. Do I get this mad when Eric Morales' name is brought up? Do I get this mad when Antonio Tarver name brought up? I don't get that mad when Eric Morales is brought up. I don't get that mad when Antonio Tarver's name is brought up. I don't get that mad when all of these other great fighters that got caught using at one point in time. I don't get that fucking mad when Roy Jones' name is brought up. Even though, you know, Roy Jones talked about it and he said, hey, they cleared him because they found it in a protein substance that he was taking, right? But he still tested positive once. And that's my favorite fighter of all time. So if I don't get that mad when those names are brought up, why am I getting that mad because Canelo Alvarez is brought up? I'm just saying, y'all, let's keep it 100. You ain't got to keep it real with me, but you can keep it real with yourself on the inside. That's all I got to say. You know, when Zenith said facts equal mad, I wasn't talking about you, Zenith, but at the end of the day, if the shoe fits, you got to wear it. You know, I'm going to just say it like this, because it's a whole bunch of people that get real mad when Canelo is brought up. And if you say if facts is brought up, well, you don't bring up none of those facts when we talk about Morales or if we talk about James Toney. We just got done talking about James Toney, and The same people was in here talking about how great that James Toney was at middleweight division. Nobody brought up PED use with James Toney until I said it. So, I mean, keep it real. That's all I'm saying. And the thing is I'm not a huge Canelo Alvarez fan like that. I'm not, but I respect the man's skills and I respect the work that the man puts in throughout his whole career. And I can look at that man and say, you know what? He's special as a fighter, right? I don't have to look at him. And when I look at Canelo Alvarez, I don't fucking just close my eyes and just see fucking needles and meat and PED use and all that shit and let that shit consume my thoughts. Some of y'all do that. I ain't gonna, you know. Well, I want to talk about boxing. Now, if he get caught again, now we can go that route. You feel me? If he gets caught again and a news story come out and say, you know what? Canelo Alvarez has tested positive for whatever. Then we could go there. Then it's like, okay, because I'm the type of person, this is how I feel about PED users, right? If you get caught once, okay, I think that you need extensive testing. They need to stay on your ass and test you extensively, right? For quite some time. And then every time you fight, you need to have testing, blood and urine testing every time you fight, right? And once you continue to pass your test, I'm cool. I'm off your helmet about that shit. You know, I'm not going to vilify you for the rest of your career and say, oh, well, he did this because he was using PEDs. He did this because he was using PEDs. He did this because he was using PEDs. No, you did it because you got the skills and you did what you had to do, right? Now, if you get caught twice, that means that you are an avid PED user. And to me, my opinion is that you need to no longer be in the sport. That's how I feel. You get caught once, okay, cool. They need to, you know, take some certain precautions. You get caught twice. Now you're trying to play the system. You get caught twice. I don't care who you is. I don't care if it's my favorite fighter or who you is. If you get caught twice, well, you was using it. That's just what it is. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't, you know what I'm saying? You get caught twice. I got you, money. I'll shoot it to you in the chat. I mean, I'll shoot it to you on your email. If you get caught twice, that's it. You know, and it's no exception. It's no exception whether you my favorite fighter or whoever you is. And that's just the same energy I keep. But I noticed that some people, a lot of boxing fans, they don't keep the same energy. They switch up according to who the fighter is. A lot of people do that shit. And I'm not shitting on nobody for doing that because it's a natural reaction for a lot of fans. At one point, right, to me, I'm going to keep it 100. At one point, I was the same way. You know what I'm saying? I might have a certain energy for this fighter. If this fighter do the same thing that fighter do, I might have a certain type of energy. But then once you really get into this shit and you really realize that, bro, I'm not attached to none of these fighters like that. Don't none of these fighters fucking pay none of my bills. You know what I'm saying? If I'm behind on a motherfucking bill ever, I can't call up name one of these fighters and say, hey, you know what? Can you help me out? And some of y'all need to think about that shit. What's good with it, money?
Keep what's going down, Brody.
What's happening with it, man?
Chilling, listening to you cook and speaking nothing but the facts, all the facts. You feel me? And then, you know, it comes down to people when they say, oh man, why y'all got to bring up other fighters just for Canelo Alvarez? Y'all trying to make excuses for him. It ain't about making excuses for him. It's the point about, like Keon said, we in 2022, right? That shit happened in 2017. 2022, 2017. Y'all say, oh, y'all got to go all the way back to bring up this. Well, y'all going all the way back to bring up something discredited.
I got you, knockout.
Whether you agree, right? Whether you say the man is dirty or whether you say the man ain't dirty, right? The man has went on and been the most tested man in boxing since, right? And the man has been giving out the same performances that he been giving out since he got caught. That y'all claim he got caught and got busted for the PEDs. If not, the performances have been better. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the situation, it's not about saying, "Oh man, y'all gotta do this." No, it's about just being fair around the board. If y'all want to scream every time this man get into the ring with somebody, oh, he's a cheater, and this is the reason why he won. And then, like Keon said, you gotta say that about every goddamn body. Period. I don't give a damn if they retire or not, because guess what? James Toney and Ruiz Jr. just went into the Hall of Fame. Just went into the Hall of Fame. Let that sink in. Just went into the Hall of Fame.
Eric Morales in the Hall of Fame.
Eric Morales, right. So if that's the case, does that mean they should be penalized and they shouldn't be in the fucking Hall of Fame? You know what I'm saying? So when we look at the situation, bro, y'all got to learn how to move on, bro. Y'all be stuck in the past as Negroes until it's somebody y'all like. You know what I'm saying? Until it's somebody y'all like. Other than that, then y'all want to, you know what? Well, he's not doing this or he's not doing that. Like, come on, man, cut it out, bro. Cut it out.
Let me KQ. My man KC Boxing, he say it don't matter. He still get caught just like a drug user. He will always be one. And let me respond to my man KQ, and then I'm gonna let you, if you need to respond. So this is how I feel about the situation, KQ. I don't have a problem, right, with people talking about, oh, he's a drug user. My problem is that the people that talk about that, and every time Canelo's brought up, they want to put meat and needles and talk about, his drug use and all of that, right? Because he got caught one time, but then they don't keep the same energy for everybody else. Now I know you're gonna speak your mind, KQ, and I believe that you're gonna keep your same energy towards all of the fighters, right? And my problem is that people don't do that. They'll talk about Canelo one way, and they'll say, oh, well, I'm going to bring up all the facts around it. But okay, if we bring Antonio Tarver up, or Eric Morales, or Roy Jones, you know what I'm saying, which is my favorite all-time fighter ever, or Holyfield or anybody else, they don't put PED use in front of their name. That's not the first thing that they say if we bring those fighters up. Just like earlier in the chat, we was talking about James Toney, and nobody said nothing about James Toney, right? With PED use, right? And then they start talking about Canelo, PED. I said, okay, well, y'all was just talking about James Toney, and that you didn't put PED use in front of James Toney name. So why is it a different energy with Canelo Alvarez? You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of fighters to this day that's got caught on PEDs, right? But we'll talk about it for a while, and then we'll forget about it. But with Canelo, it's like, okay, we like Money said, that shit happened in 2017. And every time this man's name is, I don't even like talking about him like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, because we get off track. We weren't even supposed to be talking about Canelo right now, but we get off track because people get so emotionally attached when Canelo name is brought up. And I understand it, right? Because it was the same with Floyd. When people talked about Floyd, whatever it was they talked about Floyd, people would get so emotionally attached to whether it was how much they loved him or how much they hated him. And yeah, it's just, so that's what I say. And people gonna feel how they feel, but you got to keep the same energy, right? You have to keep the same energy for everybody. You can't say, okay, well, I'm gonna shit on him, but I'm gonna look over him doing it. You feel me? And my thing is like, I know KQ, you say, once a cheater, always a cheater, or you know what I'm saying, once they get caught, it's lifetime for you. But it's like this. Everybody on here in their lifetime, they done stole something. It could have been a pencil at the store when they was little. It could have been a candy bar. Everybody on here done stole something in their lifetime, right? Just because you stole something one time, right, and you get caught for it, do that mean that they need to lock you up for life because you just the motherfucking habitual thief? You know what I'm saying? You take take responsibility, you take accountability, and somewhere down the line, you got to move on, and people around you got to learn how to move on from it. Now, if you a habitual offender over and over again, now it's a different story. But that's just how I feel about the situation. Go ahead, Money.
Yeah, but then another thing, like I know a lot of y'all they say he cheated, he did this, he did that. But the man took the precautions to go get his name clear. Whether people want to agree with it, some people say, "Oh well, the hair follicle is bullshit." We don't agree with that. Well, I give Canelo all the credit in the world for stepping up and going to do what he got to do to get his name clear. Because when you see other fighters, you don't see other fighters taking the precaution of putting themselves out there like that. They just say, "You know what? Fuck it. I just take it and let it be what it is." Some people man up to it because they know they down bad. But the man sat up there, he went out there and he did what he had to do to clear his name. And when it happened, he stepped right up to the plate. Like Canelo didn't waste no time. He stepped right up to the plate, gave a press conference that he was a clean fight. He told y'all what he was gonna do. I'm gonna fight this shit and I'm gonna show y'all that I'm a clean fighter. So he went out there and did what he had to do. The hair follicle could have came back. If he was a dirty motherfucker, the hair follicle could have came back dirty on his ass and nobody would be able to say shit. You know what I'm saying? But the man took a precaution. Whether like nobody gonna change y'all mind, y'all grown ass man. Some of y'all a bunch of following ass sheep, so we know y'all ain't gonna change y'all minds. But you still gotta give a man credit for going out there and you want to believe that he a dirty man when the test say dirty. But when the man take the right precautions and do what he got to do to show that he's a clean fighter, then y'all want to say, "Oh, you know what? The hair follicles don't mean shit." Now it don't mean shit to me because it's Canelo Alvarez to y'all. But I'm telling you, if it was one of y'all favorite fighters and he took the same precautions that Canelo took, and it showed that he was a clean fighter through the hair follicles, you niggas would be jumping for joy, clapping your hands, hitting backflips and shit. So at the end of the day, to me, right, y'all got your own way of thinking. Canelo Alvarez is a clean fighter. Performance has been even better, and the man has been a most tested fighter in boxing since the Clenbuterol shit happened.
I mean, me and Money, we agree, but we disagree on the hair follicle. I like, my stance is always, I thought he was taking it. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping 100 with y'all. I thought he was taking it. I thought he was taking clenbuterol for a reason. I don't really dig into that hair follicle shit because I thought he was cheating and he was taking it. But afterwards, he's been extensively tested, just like Money said, right? He's been tested extensively. He's in VADA. He get blood and urine testing. So, I mean, what the fuck more do y'all want? What more do y'all want? You know what I'm saying? Because I went in the store as a kid and stole something. You can't tell me I'm a fucking thief now because I'm not. I don't steal shit. And it's just the thing, Go ahead, Knockout.
Yeah, man. Salute to you, Key. Salute to my brother Money Brown, man. Appreciate y'all letting me come up here. Listen, I feel like my energy is much more well spent criticizing him for creating the franchise belt, and now we got to deal with that shit in lightweight. My energy is spent criticizing him for not giving me the fights I want, for me even having to do content and talk about him possibly fighting Laguna Beach Macadamia Nut, who we all saw just look like shit against Machunu. Him and his team going to the WBC to try to get that fight granted for him, and then his fans call it chasing greatness. Or him calling Demetrius Andrade a horrible fighter when I'm watching Avni Yildirim and Rocky Fielding and Liam on your resume. Shit like that. Like, that's the shit that I criticize him for. When I first started my channel, I recognized him as a cheater a year ago. But, I mean, since then, like, I'm not going to stay on the same shit because that don't do nothing for me as a boxing fan. What does do something for me is demanding the fights that I want to see him fight to prove his greatness. So that's where I feel like the criticisms need to come more so. If you got anything critical to say of him, I feel like you should probably be critical of the competition that he's fought recently. Not with what he did at 168. That's cool, but he ain't retired. He's still the champion. He's still building his legacy. So continuing to want greatness from him, want him to go out there and prove that he is the face of boxing, that he is the pound for pound fighter that his fans say that he is. So that's where my criticism come in from. As far as the cheating and the clenbuterol shit, one thing I do want to say, the commission never cleared Canelo. He was never exonerated. The WBC, they gave him a pass, but the actual boxing commission, they didn't clear him. And the WBC pass, I mean, that means nothing to me. We see how they treat Canelo's camp. We see the franchise belt. We see the way that they treated Oscar Valdez. So saying that he got cleared by them, that ain't shit. Like, I don't give a damn about that shit. But honestly, I just want to see, they saying it might be Jamal Charlo. It could be Dimitri Bivol. I don't want to see no fucking Triple G. I damn sure don't want to see no Laguna Beach macadamia nut, and that's where my criticisms come from, and that's what I want to see from him as a fight fan. So that's kind of pretty much my take on it. That's all I got on it. It is what it is, though. I let my brother Batman. I know he's passionate about the topic, so I'll let him do his thing unless somebody want to respond to me.
And before Batman respond, right, I'm gonna say this, right? How can I come on here every time Canelo name is brought up and just shit on the man and say that he's a PED user, right? But then I'll sit there and tell you that Roy Jones is my favorite all-time fighter. It ain't a bigger fan of Roy Jones than me. Now, would I be a hypocrite? Would I be a hypocrite or no? If I came on here and I talked about every time Canelo Alvarez name was brought up, I told you how I couldn't stand him. I talk about how much of a drug cheat he is, this and that, right? They say Roy Jones tested positive one time. Roy Jones got a whole bunch of fights and he tested positive one time in his career. I didn't vilify Roy Jones for that shit. I was like, it was a slip up. He said it was in the fucking product that he was taking. I didn't vilify him that for the rest of his career. Can't do the same shit to Canelo Alvarez. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is keep the same energy. That's it. Now, if you're going to keep that same energy with everybody, when Roy Jones' name is brought up, if you're going to put fucking needles and meat and Antonio Tarver name, James Toney, Eric Morales, and whoever, all these dudes, every time they name brought up, if you're going to start putting meat in the chat and fucking needles and drug cheat this, and well, if you're going to keep the same energy for everybody, I ain't got no problem with it. But don't just pick and choose who you do it with. That's all I'm saying. Batman, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
What's happening with it, Batman?
Man, shit cool. I'm just coming from the fucking store. Listen to my man Keon go off while I'm in the line. People looking at me crazy.
What you say?
I say people was looking at me crazy while you was going the fuck off while I was in line.
Oh, you was in the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, with Canelo, man, like I say with him, I mean, he got caught on the drug cheat, man. But like you were saying, if you still want, man, if you steal, sometimes people get caught and they steal again. They go to another store, if they can steal, they can steal. But in his situation, he can get away with the shit he doing because he somewhat runs boxing right now. He's the only one that can do anything he wants.
Ain't what I said, Batman. I said I said everybody that stole some as a kid. I said just because you stole a candy bar or a pencil as a kid, don't mean that you still stealing as a grown ass man. That's what I said, Batman. Don't.
Oh, no, he started, but he wasn't a kid when he got caught. He was a grown ass man. So that shit don't even count. He wasn't on PEDs as a kid. He got caught when he was a grown man. So I know the way he moved to me, I don't know about anybody else. The way he moved to me, like going after these fights, it's like he's getting off the shit before the fight coming up, before he gotta go test. I mean, the way he moved. Like when he ain't really want to take the fight with Caleb Plant in the first place, first time, when they was talking about testing, he was throwing all that bullshit, and then he come back and he ready. Man, the guy act funny to me, but he can do that because he runs boxing, and the WBC is ran by his people, so they run boxing. So they can push the needle for him any type of way they want to.
So 10 weeks of blood and urine testing ain't enough for you?
You say 10 weeks?
Yeah.
No, all right, he did 10 weeks, but you can get yourself off the shit before you start testing.
So what you saying, is it a fact, or you just saying that because is that a fact? I'm saying, is what you saying facts? You saying that he on PEDs still, right?
Man, I said that my beliefs. That's my beliefs. it's not going to be factual because he's never going to get caught again.
So how is he never gonna get caught again? If he's using PEDs, how is he never gonna get caught again if he's taking random blood and urine testing?
He's not taking random bloodstream testing.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
He is not.
Yes, he is. If when you sign up for VADA, that means you have random blood and urine testing. Batman.
When you sign the contract, that's when testing starts.
Okay, like I said, he's taking random blood and urine testing.
Yes, he don't take random blood and urine tests all year.
I didn't say all year, Batman. I said random blood and urine testing. I never said nothing about all year. Don't nobody in boxing get tested all year.
No, I'm not saying it. He's not taking it all. He's not taking it all year. So what I'm saying is when you what you call this shit? When you draining the shit out your system and going into the fight, the shit lasts for like 6 months. The shit is in your body till like 6 months. You still get the benefits from the drugs.
All right, bet.
That's
Okay, we gonna do it like this. Okay. From now on, everybody that Canelo Alvarez, if he beat him, he was on drugs
every week. Yep. You take a urine every week for drugs. If you smoke weed, you can beat that shit.
Okay, all right. So now on, right? If anytime Canelo Alvarez, if he beat a fighter that y'all like, he was on drugs. That's it. That's it. You cool with that money? You cool with? Yeah, is everybody cool with that?
I mean, everybody got their mind made up with Canelo anyway, bro. He ain't no.
The people who love him, they love him.
I don't love him or hate him. I don't love Canelo.
Let me ask you, Key.
I don't love him or hate him.
It ain't about loving the dude, bro. It's about being fair around the board, bro. That's all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying. You ain't gonna change nobody that's grown their mind this, that, and the third. But when
like
we
you can't change my mind, and I be fair. I
just said you ain't gonna change nobody's grown mind. I'm not here to change nobody's mind. I'm just here to speak what I gotta say. When you look at the situation, when Knockout talking about, he didn't get clear, he got clear about water, right? Which is a doping agency. You understand what I'm saying? They all using the same type of format to when they test. So yes, he did get clear, and the WBC and the WBA, but that's neither here nor there. But it's about like they'll say, well, he'll never get caught again because he run boxing. What that just said, he run boxing. No, that's not true. If you a cheater, bro, and you really cheat, that shit, you will get caught up. You will get caught up. The thing is, the man is not cheating. So that's why he won't never get caught again. Because the man is a clean fighter, bro. And he's going through the same testing that Floyd Money Mayweather and everybody else. Like you said, Keith, when you sign the contract, that's when the shit start. That's when it's supposed to start. You feel me? And if the man come out clean, then say that man is clean. Don't go saying, he's cycling off her. No, if it come back clean and they thank the man for finishing up the program, right? Give that man his credit and it's just due at the end of the day, bro.
Man, I just do it how I see niggas move, man. If I see you moving funny, I'm gonna speak out. I'm not gonna hold it in because you my favorite.
All
fighter.
I'm saying is if the man come out and say that the man did the urine drug testing, then if that's the case, then the man shouldn't even be fighting nobody. If that's the case, like every time he fight, like I say, Key, if
he can fight, it ain't cause of me.
He shouldn't fight nobody.
I mean, because I'm one of the ones that feel how I feel. He can still fight. He still fight.
No, I'm saying you feel how you feel, but
ain't gonna stop his money.
If you feel how you feel, and every time a man coming up to fight somebody, and the only thing gonna come up is, he a cheater, he cheat, or he on steroids, then he shouldn't fight nobody. He shouldn't fight again because that means ain't no credit again. The man ain't getting no credit for shit.
Yeah, y'all gotta keep it. Y'all gotta keep it. You know what I'm saying? Make up your mind. If he on steroids and he's a cheat, well, why y'all begging him to fight your favorite fighter then?
Yeah, I don't beg my
favorite fighter.
If the niggas a bona fide drug cheat, every time he get in the ring, hold on. If he a bona fide drug cheat, every time he get in the ring,
go ahead.
if he a bona fide drug cheat, and every time he get in the ring, he on steroids, like y'all say, he on everything, right? He got everything in the system. Why the fuck y'all want to see him fight your favorite fighters then? Why you want to see him fight? Why y'all always calling him? I want to see him fight Demetrius Andrade. I want to see him fight Charlo. I want to see him fight Beterbiev. I want to see him fight motherfucking Beterbiev. I want to see him fight all these fighters, but this man is a bona fide drug cheat. Make it make sense. If he's a drug cheat that much, and y'all think that he just juiced to the motherfucking gills every time he get in the ring, well, instead of crying and whining about y'all want to see him fight this dude and this fighter and this fighter, won't y'all go on a campaign? Won't y'all go on a campaign to get him kicked out of boxing then? Won't y'all come on here talking about he don't need to be fighting no more? I don't want to talk about it no more because I don't want to see him fight nobody. Make up your mind.
Man. Boxing is ran by the people, the taco eating people, man. My taco eating Mexican people, man. My good men, some of my good men that that it's ran by them. That's what they trying to tell y'all. That's what they doing, because I know Canelo is the only one that can make his own dates. He the only one that can make motherfuckers fight in 4 weeks and all that shit. He the only one.
So that started with Canelo bet. All that started with Canelo. He the only
one. He the
I'm
only
saying
one right now.
he the only one.
He the only one right now that can do that in boxing.
Well, don't act like
only. Y'all keep going to the past. I'm saying right now in boxing, he's the only one can do that.
Is he the one that started the shit?
He's the only one in boxing right now that can do that.
You never seen another world champion make another fighter fight.
He's the only one in boxing, and boxing is this.
Is it your first time seeing it?
This state of time that can do that.
Is it your first time seeing it? Yes or no, bet?
He's the only one in boxing right now that can do that. I don't care about the past. I don't give a fuck about the past.
I mean, y'all always bring up the past.
He's the only one. He's the only one in boxing right now. That's all you niggas try to do is bring up the past.
So
he's the only nigga right now in boxing that can do what he's doing.
I'm asking you. Is this the first?
And I'm telling you, he's the only nigga. Fuck the past.
Is this your first time seeing it? Yes or no?
Fuck the past. He's the only nigga in boxing right now that can do what he's doing.
Hey, hold on. Hey, that nigga Hey, Batman put the ER on that bitch. Oh shit. Yeah,
I'm just saying, he the only motherfucker in boxing that can do what he's doing. Only nigga.
Hey, I can tell y'all one thing. With Canelo name and brought up, emotions get involved.
I don't be no emotions. Well, he's the only motherfucker in boxing that can do what he want to do right now.
Niggas is passionate about that Canelo shit.
I'm gonna say this, kid. They'll say he the only one in boxing that can do what he do right now. But when other niggas was doing it back then, right? Niggas' favorite fighters.
Keep on talking about other niggas.
No, nigga, because y'all keep on talking about what the fuck.
All the niggas that was great one doing
it go right back to other niggas.
What great fighter that was doing that? Name a great fighter that did.
Floyd wasn't doing it. Floyd wasn't doing it.
Who Floyd made fight in 4 weeks?
So Floyd wasn't doing it. You trying to bring up 4 weeks? Wait a minute. You trying to bring up 4 weeks?
What champion Floyd made?
Wait a minute.
Listen, what champion Floyd made fight in 4 weeks?
Niggas accepted the contract. You keep trying to say 4 weeks.
What fighter Floyd made fight in 4 weeks?
The contract.
All right, then. He keep talking about some shit.
Yes or no?
He keep on talking about shit. Floyd made the nigga change his gloves.
Floyd trying to bring up, he's the only one for the next fight in 4 weeks.
What nigga Floyd made fight in 4 weeks?
This shit been going on in boxing.
What nigga Floyd made fight in 4 weeks? You can't say.
Stop like this shit just came up on the scene.
That's all you niggas trying to do is bring up
contract. Niggas taking early contract and niggas doing this.
Yeah, motherfucker. One thing I know, James Tony ain't fucking used motherfucking
niggas been doing this shit.
James Tony ain't used steroids in his prime, nigga.
James Tony used
steroids in his prime.
Hold on, run back. Hold on. Let me talk real quick. Let me say this real quick, and then I'm gonna read Emmanuel.
Because he got caught when he was a heavyweight.
Batman. Hold on.
Go ahead, cuz.
Hold on. Let me say this, right? Let me say this. See, this is my problem with that. Let me speak, and then I'm gonna read the super chat, and I'm gonna get back to you, right? This is my problem with that. Batman said that James Toney never used steroids in his prime. He only did it when he was a heavyweight, right? But then we go to Canelo. Hold on, hold on. Let me talk. Then we go to Canelo, and you say, well, Canelo got caught one time, right? He got caught once. But you say Canelo was using steroid. He was using clenbuterol or whatever he got caught on. He been on it his whole career. Every time Canelo fight is Batman just told you. I think that he's still on PEDs. Batman putting that jacket on him. He's still on PEDs. His whole career, he been on PEDs. But the man sit up here and told you James Toney got caught, right? But he told you that, well, James Toney wasn't on it his whole career. It was only when James Toney moved up to heavyweight. So how do you know how long James Toney was using PEDs? You don't know. Just like you don't know that Canelo was using PEDs before he got caught or he's still using them. So with that being said, you got to go off of the drug testing. He got caught once, right? That was how many years ago? 5 years ago? You got to move on because you gave the benefit of the doubt to James Toney. But you got Canelo Alvarez.
James Toney a drug
Hold
dealer.
on.
What did you talk about?
You got Canelo Alvarez. Same situation. At the end of the day, they both got caught. But you don't want to keep the same energy. You want to move the goalposts. It'd be different with Canelo, but with James Toney, it's well, he didn't do it in his prime. You don't know what he did in his prime. That's a fact. Let me read. That's my whole problem because niggas don't keep the same energy. If you're going to do it for one, do it for the other. A1 Hoops on. But I like I said, I'm not on here to change nobody's mind. Niggas is going to think like they want to think. Salute my man A1 Hoops on, my man Emmanuel H off in that big super chat. Man, I appreciate you, Emmanuel. Always coming through showing love. And if y'all ain't subbed to Emmanuel H's basketball channel yet, make sure that y'all sub to his basketball channel. And he'll be dropping the link in the chat for y'all to go sub to. You know what I'm saying? Represent the Lakers, my Lakers. Emmanuel says salute to the panel. Yeah, so Emmanuel says salute to the panel. He says, I put it like this. I'm a fan of Canelo inside the ring and his skill set he brings to the table. Just like all the top fighters. Only fighters out the ring, he said, only fighters outside the ring I had interest in was Ali, who stood up for his beliefs. Everybody else is flashing money and jewelry, diamonds. Yeah, bro. Like I said, I don't get emotionally attached to none of these fighters like that. That way, and whether I love them or hate them, I don't have that shit in me. Like, you know, I mean, when we talk about Canelo, it's people real passionate about Canelo. Like I said, whether you love it, I get on the diehard fanatics. Am I lying? Batman, am I lying? I get on the diehard fanatics that be fucking going crazy over Canelo. You know what I'm saying? I get on their ass.
I understand all that.
They be saying be fucking ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So it goes both ways, huh?
I understand all that.
But let me read this one more super chat and I'm gonna let you go. And then we gotta move on to the main topic, man. Lord to the game boxing talk. What's happening with it? My man Kwame East in the building. He said, salute to the panel. I can't wait to see EJ got his power back. And we finna move on right now into Errol Spence and Ugas, but I'm gonna let Batman get off before we move on.
I understand that. Everybody want to go to the past when it comes to Canelo. Every time something said about Canelo, niggas go to the fucking past. I'm talking about the future. I know in boxing right now that Canelo is the only man that can move the way he want to move. Any way he want to move, he can do it. They trying to say he the money man. Every time he wins time, so y'all think the WBC is gonna let that money man just get caught, and that's why they made Valdez take down the levels. So they not gonna let that money man get ruined, dog.
I'm dropping this link for KQKC. Don't you know what I'm saying? Don't nobody else grab the link. I'm dropping it for KQ. KQ, there you go. It's in the chat, KQ. But go ahead, Batman.
They not gonna let their money man get ruined, dog. He the only one. He the only one that motherfucking when these other black fighters get caught and Money say he the only one stood up, but it's a lot of Mexicans getting caught. It's only one black fighter that got caught, and still, I mean, he back now, but he had a hard time getting back. But you know what I'm saying? It's all good.
What black fighter is that?
The nigga Big Baby. I mean,
Big Baby,
he probably got caught twice.
Big Baby went out there and got caught twice in a row, man. Come on, man.
I told times in a row. He got caught 3 times.
I think it was twice.
Big Baby,
he got caught in MMA too.
But Big Baby, my guy, I talked to the nigga. I got on his. I'm talking about. I got in Big Baby. Me and him had a personal conversation. I got in his ass, and he took it all, bro. But Big Baby got caught for Anthony Joshua. Big Baby got caught to Anthony Joshua with a whole lot of shit that could have killed him and gave him cancer, right? All that shit got caught in his system. Then he didn't have a hard time getting back. He got the suspension. He came back after the suspension, man, and this motherfucker pops again, bro. Pops again.
Well, he need to get kicked out of boxing.
You know,
exactly.
No excuse for that shit.
But you know.
Yeah, I mean, KQ.
And the thing, Valdez didn't change shit. USADA changed that level of that clenbuterol shit. Not Valdez went along with it.
But the WBC got him to do it. I know they did.
No,
exactly.
The WBC did not get them to do it, bro. No, they did not.
When you see the signs, anybody that know boxing, when you see the signs of steroid use, I've been seeing it ever since high school. We know what steroids does to your brain, does to your body, how they put the acne on your back, everything. It's all the signs are there. Can I say he using? No, I can't. I ain't with him 24 hours a day. But the signs are there. That's all I can say about it, you know. But what he does in the ring is impressive, you know. But like Keon say, if you're gonna say one thing about Canelo, then you gotta say the other things about the other guys. You know, if they're cheat, then everybody cheat. You know, and me personally, I say zero tolerance. You know, hell, you want to cheat, you know, then go to a sport where you can cheat. But then again, you know, I think champions, if you hold a belt, champions should have all year round testing.
I agree.
If you hold a belt, and I'm not talking about regular, I'm talking about the actual champion. So they should do that. But Canelo, you're right. You know, sometimes you got to move on, and you know, people make mistakes. People make mistakes in the past. You know, but that's the label he got on him. You know, that's always just like a felon. You go to jail for a felon, that jacket always gonna be on you. You know, always until you get it sponged or till you get it taken care of. You know, so that's sometimes, you know, we have to call it what it is. Sometimes we can't blame other people. It's our fault. You know, that's how I look at it. You know, it's our fault for doing or whatever he did. You know, so he got caught.
When he got it taken care of, you know what Cat say? Oh, we don't give a fuck about the hair follicle shit. So it doesn't matter what he did afterwards. Niggas don't give a fuck about that. Niggas got their mind made up because it's Canelo, and you know what I'm saying? They make this shit about race. So they'll put everything, and I'm not saying race don't exist in boxing because we all know do. But they'll make the shit about race and just bring up like I don't let race and I don't let other shit, you know, persuade my judgment on certain shit. A lot of people let race persuade their judgment on shit, and that's why they be stuck in the past on shit like that. But I'm going back to the past, but niggas always going back to the past, and I'm trying to stay in the future.
I don't never go back.
Niggas going back to the past.
My whole thing is that. Like we let's move on and let's talk about the fucking fights. Let's talk about how he gonna do in the ring against whoever he in the ring with. Like every time we talk about Canelo, you ain't gotta put fucking meat and goddamn needles all in the chat like a little fucking kid and shit. That shit, man. We trying to talk about the fight.
I want to see and y'all
move on. Let that shit go. If he get caught again,
I want to see him fight the people he's scared of.
What
Well,
do you think?
I would like to see him step it up.
And Cholo one of the
You
people
know.
they say he's scared of.
Yeah,
You
Charlo
know.
went Demetrius Andre.
Well, he could have unified back in 154, but he didn't,
I mean,
and he
160.
was, huh?
160.
Yeah, and Charlo was his mandatory. You know what he do? Left. You know, and Canelo been going up and down weight classes, dodging
Well, they
mandatories
did
for
send
long.
Cholo a contract that he didn't sign that his team turned down.
You know, but they tried to railroad at that time, but that's
Hey,
okay.
hey,
But
they sent the contract that his team turned down, though, right? They sent the contract, right?
yeah, but what kind of contract was it?
Hey, they sent the contract, KQ.
You know, but man, you know how it go, man. You know how they were gonna try to railroad him anyway. Al
Well,
Ham's
they said it's a
man.
lucrative. We can say they can try to railroad.
You
But
talking
they
about
said
now?
it was a
They
no,
never
no.
sent
They said it was a
Demetrius
lucrative
Andre
offer,
shit.
making the most money that he ever made.
Now?
So, no. Back then, we
Oh,
can't
back
say
then.
it was a railroad.
oh.
They said it was a lucrative offer, and it was the most money that he ever made. So we can't say that they was trying to railroad.
All right, but why they ain't sent Demetrius Andre the contract?
I don't know why he
You
didn't
know,
send Demetrius
cause you
Andrade a
know,
contract. I know Charlo got a contract.
But
cause you
right
know,
now, I would like to see him fight. You know, maybe a Beterbiev or Charlo. You know, I don't want to see him fight nobody at the worst cruiserweight that has a belt.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
don't
want.
want
We
to
don't
see
want to
that
see that.
bullshit.
Right. We don't want to see that. No. So I would like to see him, fight someone and get, and come back from adversity. I would like to see him be in a tough fight. And the Mexican people, the true Mexican people that live in Mexico, they are saying it too. Boxing.com got a write up about that now. About Canelo, now they starting to figure him out now. Now they starting to figure out, okay, look, we want to see some tough fights. No, Nacho, Marquez, they spoke out about it. We want
Nacho
to
and
see,
Marquez been haters, KQ.
okay,
man, they from
okay.
Mexico. They know what the Mexican people talking about.
They want
They've
you.
been hating on Canelo since way back when, bro. So
This is a
But
topic, we just need to realize that people, when Canelo name is brought up, you gonna have people got strong, I don't want to say emotions, but it's a strong, I don't know, it's a strict people real passionate about Canelo, whether they
why
hate
is
him.
that? I love him. You love him or loathe him, man. You can love him or loathe him. Which one is it? I don't know.
I would have gave him
It,
all his respects if he would never been moving the way he was moving.
I don't like how he was, but see, this is my thing, right? I'm a person that know how to live and move on from shit. Some people don't. Some people they stuck in the past. I'm not a person that's stuck in the past, right? And I'm not shitting on nobody else for saying this, right? Some people they don't know how to move on. Me, I've always been saying this, and you know this, Batman. I've been saying we keep talking about what he didn't do at 154. I had a problem with him not fighting Demetrius Andrade and Charlo at 154, right? I had a problem when they was at 60 and he didn't fight Jamal Charlo, right?
Or
I had a problem with that. And I talked about it extensively. I talked about it, right? But now I said, okay, we can move on now. He moved up to 168.
But hold on. When he moved up,
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
He moved up to 168. He fought all the champions at 168. Now, I said, let's see what he continues to do moving forward. Some of y'all act like y'all want Canelo Alvarez to fucking fight Charlo, Beterbiev, Bivol, motherfucking Beterbiev, all of them in one night. Some of y'all act like he need to go and line them all up like they used to do in the UFC when the UFC first started and have a one-night tournament and fight all of them. That's what y'all acting like. God damn. Let's see what he does moving forward, right? Because he fought Caleb Plant. To me, that was a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? He talking about fighting Jamal Charlo. People been wanting to see him fight Jamal Charlo for a long, long time, right? So he looked like he moving pretty smooth to me now. I like how he moving now. Let's see what he does before we start vilifying him. And then every time he say, okay, I'm gonna fight Charlo. Well, man, why now? He didn't do this at 154. We got to get past that shit. Let's move on. God
I
damn.
mean,
Well,
I want to
sometimes
see
you
him fight. Like I said, y'all keep on saying he did something to impact. No, he just did it when he fought Callum Smith and Demetrius Andrade came in the shit. Y'all acting like I'm supposed to forget that, and he tell me Demetrius Andrade is a shitty fighter.
We know he's not gonna fight Demetrius Andrade. We could talk about that shit until our face turn fucking blue.
Why
He ain't
not?
he not fighting him, and I don't agree with it. I think I've talked about that shit so much. I'm sick of
Hey,
it.
but he tried to convince.
I've
He tried to
cooked
convince the
Canelo
world.
Alvarez for not fighting Demetrius Andrade. I'm sick
But
of talking about this shit.
And
I
I got
understand that.
I got on Canelo ass for not fighting Andrade. I got on Canelo ass
No,
for fighting the Avenue
You-
years. Did I not get on Canelo ass for the Avenue years?
No, I'm talking about when Demetrius Andrade came into his press conference. You made a joke about it too. A lot of people.
Of course, I can make a joke about it, but what I say, I don't agree with them talking about he no fuck. I never, nigga, I said it all the time. I don't agree with Canelo, nor do I agree with Cholo talking about Andrade is a fucking horrible fight. I know Andrade can fight his ass off. I never said, oh, he's a shitty
No, I
ass.
said you made jokes.
I don't
Who
think.
did make a joke about it? Well, I'm supposed to be up here all hard. Oh man, you know what?
Nah, you supposed
make
to
a joke about whatever I want to make a joke about.
I don't
just
think.
funny.
But y'all say y'all keep it real. Y'all supposed to got on his helmet.
Why?
He
Because
been
it's not a joke. First of all, I got on
trying to
Canelo
downgrade
ass.
that man.
First I got on Canelo ass, so he don't like the Negro. If he don't like him, he don't like him. Earl don't like Keith Thurman ass no more.
Man,
So if they don't like somebody,
he just don't like him. He's scared of him.
man,
It ain't no
fucking
just
scared
don't
of
like
Andrade. He fought better competition than Demetrius Andrade.
Well, you know what?
It's
It's not. I don't think Canelo
He's
is scared of him.
Scared of
I
Andrade.
just-
You fight better competition than the motherfucker.
No,
I
if
think-
you fight Rocky Fielding and tell this
Man, better competition than that motherfucker.
so Rocky Fielding was a better competition
I
than
never said
Andrade?
Rocky. I said, how's he scared of him? He fought better competition than the man.
I don't think so. The man was an Olympian. The man, the champion in two different weight classes.
Niggas fight better than Demetrius Andrade.
Yeah, he could have fought him at
Caleb
154.
Plant better than Demetrius Andrade.
Listen, he could have fought him at 154. He chose not to. He fought Liam Smith. He could have fought him at 160 to get his first unification match. I mean, to get his first undisputed. He didn't. He moved on and fought fucking Rocky Fielding. So that speaks a lot highly for Demetrius Andrade to me. That speaks
Canelo ain't afraid
volumes
of goddamn Demetrius Andrade, bro. That's the last motherfucker.
I don't think Canelo afraid of nobody. I just think he's, he don't want to get into a fight with someone that's gonna give him trouble. That's what I think. I think he don't want a tough fight.
That's scared. That's being scared if you don't want a tough fight. That's called being scared.
And Floyd got that out there with that old.
Y'all assuming Andrade gonna be a tough fight.
No, not Andrade. I'm talking about not
Canelo
Demetrius Andrade.
He gonna be a tough fight.
Y'all assuming that shit. Then get there, knock Andrade ass out, gonna have all the excuses in the world.
But Canelo is assuming it too.
Get in there and knock Andrade ass out. It's gonna be all the excuses
But
in the world.
Canelo, I'm not just assuming it. Canelo is too.
You is assuming because you don't know what's gonna happen inside this.
Canelo is too.
So you can't say that.
It's not really Andrade. It's just the bigger guy. Like the Beterbieves, the Bibbles, even Charlo. But you know what? I came to the conclusion I was thinking about last night. It doesn't matter if Charlo knocked Canelo down twice, he still probably will win. If he sitting there and work that stick all night on Canelo because he comes straight forward and Charlo got the reach, he's still gonna win. It's just the way it's set up right now because he's supposed to be the face of boxing. He's supposed to have the WBC in his pocket, supposedly, allegedly. So I mean, can he be beat? Can he be beat? Or you just have to knock him out, which he got a chin and that ain't gonna happen. That's why nobody want to bet. That's why nobody never want to bet on Canelo because they know that Canelo's going to win automatically.
Because that's people's way of thinking. Because I don't think that. I feel like if you get in there and you outbox him and you win, if you can outbox him and take him there, I think you'll get the nod. So
let's move on. Let's move on. Hey, let's move on. Let's move on. Because I know we talk about this Canelo bullshit all day.
All night.
But, you know what I'm saying? But let's talk about, mix the man down. Let's talk about Errol Spence. And I saw Trill, earlier today. Before that, I seen, Marvelous Jarvis. If y'all don't know who he is, Marvelous Jarvis, he got a great YouTube channel. He do a lot of skits and all of that. And he is Errol Spence's main sparring partner. You know what I'm saying? Him and Errol Spence been sparring partners since they was young. You know what I'm saying? Since they were both coming up in the game. So can't nobody really tell you more about Errol Spence than he can, because he didn't share the ring with Errol Spence on all, when Errol Spence is at his worst, when he in the middle, and he at his best. Marvelous Jarvis didn't share the ring with Errol Spence. And he came out today and he said, look, you know, I've been sparring with Errol Spence. You know, I sparred with him through the Danny Garcia. I sparred with him all leading, you know, through the Manny Pacquiao. And I've been sparring with him ever since he, you know, came back from the eye injury. He said, matter of fact, we were sparring before we was even supposed to spar. And so he said, you know, he been sparring a lot with Errol Spence. And he said, you know, he noticed, you got to cut your mic off. Yeah. So he says that he noticed that Errol Spence's speed was on another level. Like, you know what I'm saying? He like, yeah, he said his speed was on another level. Like he was moving more fluently and he was throwing more like faster combinations than he's ever thrown before. He said, but he ain't had that power. He said that power wasn't there. He said he still hit hard, but it wasn't like, you know, that thudding power. He just didn't have the power behind him. So he said, I was wondering, like, you know, did he kind of trade in his speed, you know, for his power? Because he said Errol wasn't really thumping like that for a minute.
Kenyon, what you said the guy name was?
Marvelous Jarvis.
Okay, I had Marvelous Jones. Is that him?
No, it's Marvelous Jarvis. Jarvis, I believe.
Because he must have knocked out a sparring partner named Marvelous Jones.
Nah, well, he didn't knock out Marvelous Jarvis. So basically, he said he ain't really had that thudding power that, you know. But he said now, recently, while he been sparring him, he said he faster, and he said he hit harder than he ever been hit.
Yep, that's what I heard.
He said he been hitting. He said now, recently, he said, I don't know what EJ doing with this strength and conditioning and all this shit he doing. He said, but this man is hitting harder than he ever been hitting. Now, let's go back to because we know that a lot of us felt that EJ was one of the hardest hitting motherfuckers in the division back when he was working with Blu-ray. That's one of the main things, right? Oh, yeah, you right, KQKC. It's Marvelous Jarvis Jones.
Okay, the same person. Okay.
Yeah, right? So a lot of people were saying, man, he ain't gonna never get that power back when he was, I call him when he was that nigga with the shag. You know what I'm saying? When he was just stumping down on cats, right? A lot of people said, hey, we ain't gonna never see him get that power like that back unless he get back with Blu-ray Fitness, right? So unfortunately, he ain't been with Blu-ray, you know, but he got with another strength and conditioning coach, and they call Fight to Be Fit. They got him on a strict nutritionist regimen, and they got him doing a lot of different, you know, strength and conditioning techniques. It's different than what Blu-ray was doing, but they got him doing a lot of different things. And with that being said, Marvelous Jarvis is saying, hey, he looked better than I ever seen him look before. And that's even going back, you know, to when he was that nigga with the shag. He said he looking better now. And Marvelous Jarvis, he wasn't just saying that to say it, because I've heard him in interviews before in the past say, yeah, you know, he good, but he still got some things to work on. So he keep it 100, right? He keep it all the way 100. And he also said that, like, you know, EJ have his bad days in the gym, just like everybody else do. He said he have his bad days, he have his good day. So he said he wasn't just always just running through sparring partners on everyday basis. You know, he said his days he didn't have bad days, but he said now he just overall looking a lot better than he's ever looked before. And he said that Errol Spence ain't even at 100%. As far as he said, he's 100% healed. His eye that's not a problem. He said the man been getting hit in his eye. He didn't took big shots. his eyes 100% healed, so that's not gonna be a factor. So for everybody that's talking about, oh, he ain't gonna never be the same. As soon as he get hit in the eye, he gonna fold up.
Right. He's not favoring it or nothing, right?
Yeah, that he not favoring his eye or none of that shit. He cool. He ain't even thinking about the eye. That's not a factor. But he says that as far as being in 100% shape right now, because they, you know what I'm saying, they just like he been in camp for months now, but he ain't been in full all out training camp yet. So now he's saying that he probably at like 70%, but the fight ain't until April. So he's saying, man, he said that he see that he gonna knock out Ugas. He says because now Errol Spence don't have to worry about going in camp, cutting weight. He already there. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got to. All he got to do is continue to work on the game plan, his sharpening his skills, getting sharp. And he said he sees Errol Spence going in there and knocking out Ugas because he's faster and he hitting harder than he's ever hit before. Ever. So I'm gonna go Money. He was the first one in the building, so I'm gonna go to Money. I'm gonna go to Batman, then I'm gonna go to KQ.
But yeah, I know Marvelous Jarvis, man. Good ass dude. Follow him on Instagram, y'all. Funny, do a lot of skits and shit. You know, EJ helped save his life on many occasions and shit. So, man, I don't have no worries about Errol Spence. Never had no worries about him because the dude's a hard worker, man. He's a hard worker. He gonna put the grind in. He gonna do what he gotta do to be successful inside that square circle. One thing he ain't gonna do is cheat us. You know what I'm saying? One thing EJ ain't gonna do is cheat us. The motherfucker go out there, he gonna grind his ass off. And even if he ain't, like people talk about the Sean Porter fight and you know the Danny Garcia fight, we all know the Danny Garcia fight, he wasn't gonna be 100%. But even in the Sean Porter fight where he slacked a little bit, he still went in that motherfucker and gave us 100% EJ for us to fight in the effort. And he found a way to win. So when I look at EJ, bro, I really don't be having no concerns with his ass. You know what I'm saying? His ass go work his ass off to get back to where he need to get to. I think that car accident was a wake-up call to him, right? He understand that, look, I could have been a dead motherfucker. I could have had everything taken from me. I could have been a cripple. I could have lost a limb. Anything could have happened in that situation. But shit, here for a reason. He ain't taking it for granted. I mean, I feel like he really wanted to make a statement in that Manny Pacquiao fight. He really wanted to make a statement in that Manny Pacquiao fight to show people that he's back. And he worked his ass off in that fight to do what he got to do because he went back to Blu-ray. And we all saw that. And we all knew that he meant business. You know what I'm saying? That he meant business. And he was going to fuck Pacquiao up worse than what your Dennis Ugas did. And he was going to retire his ass. His whole plan was to retire Manny Pacquiao. And he was going to go out there. He was going to retire Manny Pacquiao as the worst way. So now, you know, that shit just go carry on because he was already in shape after that. Right, but he's a strong mentally dude, bro. Earl is mentally strong, and in this boxing game, you have to be mentally strong as fuck if you want to make it to the top and stay at the top. And the dude is mentally strong, so he's able to miss out on a Manny Pacquiao payday and still keep his head high and still keep, you know, the weight down, knowing that, you know what, I'm gonna get other big opportunities, right? And now you got your Dennis Ugas who defeated Manny Pacquiao, and that's another big opportunity. And you know, Ugas ain't no bitch. You feel me? Ugas is not no bitch. So you got to go out there. You got to do what you got to do to get ready for this fight. You got to put the hard work in because he's a champion coming in. He's not fit to lay down. He don't want to lose. He feel like he can beat you. You seen what he did against Sean Porter. You seen what he did against fucking Manny Pacquiao. You seen what he did against Omar Figueroa. So the motherfucker's out there fighting his ass off, bro. The Dennis Ugas is no slouch at all. He stay in shape. He gonna put the hard work in. He'll come in with a hell of a game plan, and he come from nothing. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know what you got to do. You can't leave no stone unturned now. I mean, you can't leave no stone unturned now. He knows this. He knows where he can go, right? He got one more fight at 147. After this, he do want Turnbull Crawford, but he know ain't no Turnbull Crawford if I don't get past your Dennis Ugas. Ain't no Turnbull Crawford. So the man putting in the hard work, bro, like I say, I don't have no worries about EJ with everybody with all that talk, the eye, and all that shit. I know that shit ain't gonna play a factor. So, you know, he's just doing what we know. He's doing what we know of him to do, man. Work his ass off, get in the best shape of his life, go in there and put on the best performances. So I feel like go in there. Will he stop Ugas? You know, it's yet to be seen. Do we got to stop Ugas to me? No. But I am looking for a fucking superb performance from his ass. And if the stoppage come with your Dennis Ugas, then that's just the cherry on top, you know. So I feel like go in there and do what he got to do. But Earl, it's just what we know of. He's gonna go in there and go work his ass off, and I don't think he's taking shit for granted now.
Right. And Batman, what's your take on that, Batman?
Man, according to Mikey, man, Earl hurt, man. That's according to Mikey Garcia, man. I think Mikey in the cabinet something, man. Mikey getting some type of information. But nah, man, like I said, man, every time I talk about Earl, man, he doing everything he said he was gonna do, man. He getting them straps on his side. I mean, that's if he can, get past Ugas, and he say he gonna go out to Bud. But I'm saying some other shit, but I hope he stick to what he said he was gonna do. But I see some other shit over there with the PBC trying to do, cause they might be trying to punish Bud, cause Bud ain't trying to take ball. And then somebody in the chat just said Bud about to go up and fight what's his name? Jamel and Castano. But how he gonna do that? They PBC fighters too. But but like I said, I hope, man, when Earl come out, if he come and get this victory, I hope he do what he say he gonna do, man. Pressure the fight for Bud, man. Get the fans what they want, cause the fans ain't really been getting what they want out of boxing so far, man. We've been getting good fights, but we ain't been getting what we want. This something we want. You know what I'm saying? This something everybody say they gonna pay for. I'm gonna pay for it, But man, the dude, Marvelous said, man, he in there fucking shit up. Man, he done touched him up a little bit. At first, it was just the speed. He wasn't feeling the power. Now he's saying he's feeling shit from Earl that he wasn't feeling no more. So I mean, I respect Slim assessment of the whole thing, because he used to box, he used to compete with Earl in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, he was the number 2, couldn't never get past Errol Spence to go off and to the regionals or to the nationals. And I respect everything he said about what him and Earl, what goes on in the gym. And like Money said, Earl ain't, Earl hard worker. He never disappointed us. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of his. He never disappointed, because he a cold man. I'm a fan of boxers that's cold men, that's just want to stand up and get what they want. He one of them. He told me everything he said he was going to do, man. I'm gonna get these straps on my side, and I'm gonna go over there. Whoever got the belt over there, I'm gonna go take it and become undisputed. He's been doing that so far. So I ain't got no quarrels with Errol Spence, man. I love what the guy been doing. He came off a car accident, went in there in his mandatory. He beat up Danny Garcia worse than anybody Danny Garcia faced it. But except my man, what's my man name? Nah, at 140, what's his name, man?
For who?
Danny Garcia he beat the shit out of Danny.
Peterson.
He's talking about over in Puerto Rico.
No, not Peterson.
Mauricio Ramos, Puerto
him.
Rico.
Yeah, Earl, the second person to beat the shit out of Danny, man. Let me rephrase that.
You ain't lying, man.
Huh?
You ain't lying. He whooped his ass in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he beat his ass. Earl, the second person that beat Danny. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so and then like you said, Danny was his mandatory. I want to know which one of these dudes that'll come off a car accident like that fight that mandatory in the Danny Garcia. Because Keith Thurman wasn't trying to fight nobody off of elbow injury. It was his get back year. He had to, until Pacquiao jumped out there. I understand that. That's money. But Earl do things that some of these fighters wouldn't do. Also, my little brother, shout out to Gary Russell Jr. I had to throw that in there, but he do shit that some of these fighters wouldn't do, man. So I respect him to the utmost. But that's all I got for you.
Yeah. KQ.
Yes, sir. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I'm with Money on this one. As far as the car accident, I think that had been a little wake up call for him. Because see, when you go through a traumatic incident like that, and which I was in a bad car accident, my truck had flipped over and everything, and you laying there and you thinking, hey, I can be dead, or I can be somewhere else, in a wheelchair or whatever. Then you find a new foundation on life. So that motivates you. And Earl Spence already had self-motivation in him already. He's not the type of fighter that you got to wake him up to go run. By the time you go to his room, he gone running already. That's the type of guy he is. And I'm not a big Earl Spence fan, but I'm just laying the facts, and the facts is that he is a self-motivator, but then again, at the same time, he's a businessman. He know a little bit about the business with Man Down Promotions. And also, he's a laid back type of guy. He knows when and what not to say and when to say it, and then he let all the talking in the ring. Now, that is what you call a perfect boxer. That's what you call a boxer that's going to mean what he say and say what he means. And that you can't do nothing but respect that. You can't do nothing but respect that. And a lot of people kind of misunderstood, or they didn't want to understand. It's up to them, or they got their own individual hatred. But when he said that, I'm gonna take the easy route, everybody knew what he meant. Let's use our basic common sense here. Everybody knew what he meant. That okay, it's easier to make the fight over PBC because that's where we all from. But Bob Arum, he ain't gonna give two shits about you. He gonna put maybe $1 on your ass and that's it. But then again, Earl Spence, he's doing exactly what he said he's gonna do. Yes, he had the eye injury, and before he had the eye injury, he was gonna fight who? Manny Pacquiao. Well, Ugas stepped in. Now Ugas got that belt, and Earl is. I'm picking up where he left off at. Only thing about it is it changed guards. Now Manny don't have it. Now you guys have it. So he going there. That's all. Now after that, now Terrence Crawford wants him to call him out. Why are you waiting on another man to call you out? If you want that fight, go get it. Go get it. Call him out. Do some interviews. Go out there and put your name out there. Sell yourself. Let people know who you are. Don't let somebody else speak for you, because all you're doing is burning the box and make you look like a fool, because what he's saying is stupid. What he's saying is making you look real stupid right now. Not only did Bob make you look that way, he's making you look that way. So sometimes you got to surround yourself around good people that are going to tell you the truth. I'm not just saying it's called Batman on here, but Gary Russell Jr., he got a good mind of business on him. He knows when a contract is not right, or himself. He don't have to take the L. He knows when the contract is not right or right. So those are good businessmen. And you can box at the same time. The sky's the limit for yourself. And that's why I always say a man got to bet on himself. Earl Spence is betting on himself. Earl Spence is betting on himself. If you can't bet on yourself, then where would you be? So that's all I got on that.
Yeah, and so to add on to the Marvelous Jarvis, like I said, I was watching Trill, and on Trill Boxing Talk today, he said that Errol Spence, and I've been telling y'all this, right? He said that Errol Spence pretty much listened to all of the negative shit that people been saying, right? That he never gonna be the same. His eye injury is gonna affect him. He been listening to all of that shit, right? And he says that this actually put Errol Spence in a whole different mode than he's seen him in a long time. He says that now he ain't drinking, he ain't partying, he ain't doing none of that shit. He says, if Errol stays dedicated like he is now, right? If he continues after this Ugas fight, he continue on the path that he is now, because he said he's very, very motivated. He want to prove everybody wrong, and that shit drives him. So all that hate that y'all doing, all that shit do is fuel him, right? He says that if he stay on this path as motivated as he is now, he says he see him running through everybody at 147 pounds. But he did say this, right? He kept it, he kept it real on how he feels. He says that he always felt that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford is a 50-50 fight, right? He says he's always felt that. He says that right now, at this point, he feels that it's a 50-50 fight. So for everybody that's just in the background, like, oh, he just saying that because it's his sparring partner. He keeping it real all the way around the board. He's saying, yeah, he said, Terrence Crawford, I think that's his toughest fight. It's a 50-50 fight. But he says right now, the way Errol Spence working right now and how locked in and focused he is right now, he says if he stay like this, he said he see Errol Spence stopping Terrence Crawford also, right? So the thing is it's an if. Now, we can all say easily, you know what I'm saying? We can all easily come on here and say, yeah, he's gonna stay focused, but he needs to do it. You feel me? It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it. And I tell the people all the time, if Errol Spence stay locked in and loaded, just like Marvelous Jarvis said, ain't nobody fucking with him in the 147-pound division. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. Errol Spence is the only one that can beat Errol Spence. That's how I feel about the situation, right? He can beat himself. If he get the fucking off again, well, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, motherfucking Boots and Terrence Crawford might beat him if they fight. But just like Marvelous Jarvis said, and he knows better than me, KQKC, Money Brown, Batman, or anybody else that's in the chat. He knows better than anybody because he's seen Errol Spence at his best and his worst, right? He's seen all levels of Errol Spence. And he telling y'all that he's different right now. This is a different level. Now, Ugas, a lot of people think he's just going to go in there and run through Ugas. Ugas is a tough fighter. You know what I'm saying? It is crazy to me how a lot of people say, Ugas, that's a trash fight. We don't want to see that. And it's the same people that was okay with a Manny Pacquiao fight. But Ugas, y'all must have forgot that Ugas went in there and beat Manny Pacquiao. He beat Manny Pacquiao. So how is y'all saying that Ugas is a trash fight? That's a hell of a fight. The man beat Manny Pacquiao. In a lot of people's eyes, he beat Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? So how is Ugas a trash fight? This a hell of a fight, y'all. And if Errol Spence go out there and if he stops Ugas, to me, that's a huge statement. That's a huge statement. A huge statement. Ugas ain't never been stopped before. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but Ugas ain't never been stopped before. He go out there and beat Ugas, and Ugas is at the top of his game. He is at his prime. He ain't going in there and lose. He's going in there to prove to everybody that what I did to Manny Pacquiao ain't no fluke. And y'all can think Ugas is some fool, but I guarantee you, Errol Spence ain't looking at Ugas as no fool. Errol Spence know how tough of a fighter Ugas is. Actually, Errol Spence always gave Ugas his highest respects. And so Errol Spence gonna get in the ring and he gonna be ready. I got him beating Ugas. But if he stop Ugas, that shit gonna scream. If he stop Ugas, woo, that's gonna be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, a lot of y'all think Ugas is food, but if you think that, you might not know as much about boxing as you think you do.
You're right, because that's one thing about you guys. He's come from the school of Cuban boxing. Cuban always keep a great amateur program. They eat, sleep boxing 24/7. They box what they call the finca. That's the farm where they sleep and eat there and box there. They treat them like kings over there as amateurs, because that's why you find a lot of Cuban fighters don't go pro till they almost 20 some years old, because of the standout. I think Floyd was the first American to beat a Cuban in so many years. Cuban has a certain style. When they throw, they always back in place. They never out of position when they throws. It's just they have a different style. Like the UK have a different style than American fighters. So they created it, we perfected it. Just how it is. But don't count Ugas out. He's getting better. He's getting better each fight. He's getting better, but I don't think he has the speed. The speed, I think he's a little bit slower on the speed, as far as a Errol Spence or a Terrence Crawford. He just don't have the speed. Now, sure, he'll sit there. He won't give you a lot of lateral movement. He'll stand right there in the pocket and fight with you. And pretty much pretty much a chess game. But don't underestimate him, because he knows how to loop that right hand, and he can pretty much sit down on his punches when he need to. So that's how I look at it. So
right, and Ugas, we talk about how great Errol Spence go to the body. Ugas go to the body very well himself.
Yep.
So you're gonna see a great fight. This gonna be a great fight. And salute to Carno Loco Sports. What's happening with it, Carno? So this gonna be a great fight. You know what I'm saying? And let me read this super chat from Zenith 360. He says, do a Porter versus Ugas and Spence versus Porter comparison. You can actually compare those fights, because if you watch the Porter versus Ugas, it was a nip and tuck fight. They was nose to nose grinding it out a lot in that fight. And a lot of times in that fight, Ugas was getting off a lot faster than Porter was. You know what I'm saying? He was causing Porter some problems because he was digging to the body, and then he was punching in between Porter's shots. But unlike Sean Porter versus Terrence Crawford, because I just actually watched the Porter versus Ugas last night. It's funny you brought that up, because I watched that fight last night. And the main thing that I noticed in that fight, I noticed that Sean Porter was much more aggressive than he was in the Terrence Crawford fight. Because in the Terrence Crawford fight, he was aggressive in spots. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was aggressive in spots. And then once he got tired later down, but you know what I'm saying, before Terrence Crawford stopped him, he started being real aggressive, but that shit was out of frustration. He was just going in there with no defense, and that was out of frustration. But if you go back to the entire Terrence Crawford fight, he wasn't near as aggressive as he was in the Ugas and Spence fight. So when I did watch that Ugas fight back, I saw Sean Porter being very aggressive in that fight, and he was very aggressive in the Spence fight. But Ugas, like I said, Ugas was using angles along with Sean Porter. See, that's another thing Ugas is able to do. He uses angles. I like how he pivots. He pivots a lot, and Sean Porter do the same thing. So that's why that fight was so close, because a lot of the things that Porter was doing, Ugas, they was doing a lot of the same things in that fight. That's what people didn't realize. That's why it was such a close fight. I had Porter edging it out by like 1 or 2 rounds. A lot of people had Ugas winning that. I think my man Batman had Ugas winning the fight. I don't have a problem with that. When I first watched the fight, I thought that Ugas won the fight. Then I went back and I probably watched it like 4 times, and I had it Sean Porter edging it out. But it could have went either way. It was one of them fights that was very close.
They ain't scored Ugas knockdown.
Yeah, you can.
I call it a knockdown. Punch did cause it. He slipped. I think the punch caused that.
Yeah, you could.
I had Porter winning the fight, though, me myself too.
You could, but so with that all being said, one thing I noticed when I rewatched that fight, y'all, is that Porter was in tip-top condition for that Ugas fight, and he was in tip-top condition for that Errol Spence fight. It wasn't a wide gap from what Porter you saw. It was just Ugas in his ability, right? A lot of people was like, oh, well, Porter wasn't this in that Ugas fight. He actually was if you go back and watch that fight. Porter was on go mode in that Ugas fight. Ugas just did a lot of things to nullify what Porter was doing in that body work. You know what I'm saying? That body work too. So, like I said, when you go to Ugas now, I'm pretty sure we're gonna even get a better version of Ugas than we did in the Manny Pacquiao and Porter fight, because now he is champion. He has more resources to get in better shape and to train better. So don't sleep on Ugas. Now, like I said, I got Errol Spence all the way, but don't sleep on Ugas and think this ain't gonna be no great fight, y'all.
Yeah, because all y'all had Manny Pacquiao beat Ugas.
Yeah, I thought Pacquiao would have been, but Ugas coming
I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was a fight that could have went either way. I told everybody, if you go back and run the tape back, I told everybody, Batman, I said, hey, Ugas can fight. I said, you know what I'm saying? He might upset Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, Ugas gonna be on the shit for Errol Spence. Any nigga that fight Errol Spence gonna be in the best shape of their lives. Sean Porter was in the best shape of his life against Errol Spence. Mikey Garcia was in the best shape of his life. He's saying the shit that they done that they did, right? So your Dennis Ugas, this fight gonna be the best your Dennis Ugas that you ever go see in boxing. This gonna be the best. The best Dennis Ugas that you ever see in boxing. He's not gonna leave no stone unturned. He gonna go the extra mile. He'll go fuck with other probably big time fighters or bring in another coach to get another look at Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? So they go the extra mile when it comes to Errol Spence, bro. They go the extra mile. So he damn should come to win. He not to lay down. You know what I mean? So, and he can fight his ass off, like we said. But I just think the physicality of Errol Spence gonna get to him. Ugas, he'd like to fight a physical fight, but he ain't more physical than Errol Spence. And I think that's gonna catch up with his ass in the second half of the fight. And that's what I think Errol gonna start punishing his ass in the second half of the fight. But the first 6 rounds, I think it's gonna be very competitive. Ugas gonna be right there, probably be toe to toe with his ass. And probably, to be real, probably be up around. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But he gonna be toe to toe with Errol as the first 4 to 5 rounds, right? And then I think that 6th round gonna take the turn. I think that the physicality of Errol Spence, as Errol motor get going, I think Errol gonna start grinding his ass down, hitting his ass with big shots. I think his face gonna start swelling up. That's why I think Errol gonna start breaking his ass. Possibly that he can stop him, and Ugas can take some punishment. So we'll see if he can last that 12 round. But Errol gonna try to grind this motherfucker out. He gonna try to make this one of his best performances.
Yeah. Earl seems like sometimes he start off slow, and as the rounds go on, he's getting better, getting sharper, and then he catch that second wind. You can see him tapering off a little bit with the wind, then he come back maybe the next round and a half, and come back with a second wind, and then he started dominating by sitting down on his punches, and then he's really gonna work in the body then. I mean, I say this a lot on my lives. A lot of guys get away from the body shots. No one want to work the body. Everybody head hunting. But once you work the body, left, right, kidneys, and go to the body, the stern, I mean, tumble jab, shovel jab, I mean, all that. You can break a body down. Then round 6, 7, 8, they ready to go. Then the hands start coming down. And then that's when you start, then you go up and down, and next thing you know, you get them all balanced. And there you go. That's how I look at it, so, yeah. But,
KQ, I think it's going to come down to, like I said, grit and all that. But Ugas, he gets hit a lot. He do get hit a lot. And we saw that in the Manny Pacquiao fight. Manny Pacquiao landed some shots on him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he careless with his defense at times. And I think that that's when Errol Spence in the later rounds is going to break him down. And I see Errol Spence stopping him in the later rounds. I see he can stop him in the later rounds. I do see it because Ugas is going to be a fighter. He's going to be right there with you. And I think that Errol Spence is going to be in a lot better shape, and he's going to look a lot better than he did in the Danny Garcia fight. Yeah. I just feel that way.
Yeah. And it was so funny how when he fought Lamont Peterson, and Lamont Peterson knows that Errol Spence is pretty much a body man. He goes to the body, and that's his number one thing. And I mean, Lamont Peterson was up in the air doing sit-ups. That's how bad he was trying to tighten up the muscles. It didn't help not one bit. I mean, he still stopped. I mean, he still stopped him, man. He was up in the air doing sit-ups, man. That was man crazy. But it still it did help, because once you go to the body and you're a good body puncher, man, wow. That's something else. And and Errol Spence remind me of a young Julian Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Okay.
Julian Jackson. He was a bad. He was a bad boy. He just didn't have no chin.
Right. But he can punch. Man, he can punch.
He ain't had no chin though.
Yeah, man. So, and that's what he remind me of, a young one, so.
Yeah. And another thing, like Wes brought up, he said, do Ugas have enough to keep Spence off of him? That's another problem. Ugas, he throws a lot of combination, right? I think he's very accurate with his work, but one thing is he don't have that hard thudding shit that's gonna have Errol Spence thinking like, okay, let me be cautious going in. Danny Garcia had that. A lot of people don't. That's one thing about Danny Garcia. The motherfucker can punch.
Right.
Ugas can't hit hard like Danny Garcia. So Errol Spence gonna try to walk through Ugas.
Yeah. Now Errol Spence does a lot of jumping in and jumping out. But with Ugas, he gonna just walk right through him. He might take one to give 2 or 3. I can see that. Then with Danny Garcia, he took that jab away from him. He used his jab effectively. And, because, you find the southpaw orthodox, I think Danny got confused a little bit too. He was slow on his feet, and one time he didn't even know where Earl was at. Earl right behind him. He didn't even know it, so. But now Ugas, he's going to keep him right in front of him. And like you say, he does go to the body too. That's what he worked, yeah.
What I see a lot of people been trying to do, they've been trying to downplay Ugas, right? And try to act like that he's just some bum and he ain't shit. So if Errol Spence do go out there and beat him or stop him, they can come back and say, "Oh, we told you Ugas wouldn't." We see what these dudes do. But at the end of the day, Ugas is talented. He's a very good fighter.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I say,
he beat Terrence Crawford. A lot of y'all haters, don't forget, he beat Terrence Crawford ass bad in the amateurs. Yeah, it wasn't even close.
Yeah, like I say, the Cubans, they can fight, and like I say, on Floyd, I think that was in the amateurs, the only one that beat a Cuban back then after so many years. But now, man, the Cuban fighters like Tito Trinidad, I like the way he wasn't a Cuban, but I like the way he can fight, so. But yeah, that you know what? Down the stretch, that gonna be a hell of a fight. I'm telling you right now. When round 7, 8 kick in, man, watch out. Yeah. If nobody don't fall, it's gonna be a hell of a fight. So man, I can't wait to see it. Man.
Yeah, I like that fight. We and then we gotta see. I'm expecting Errol Spence to call out Terrence Crawford after that fight. But the only thing is, like, Terrence Crawford, he don't want to go talk to Al Heyman. Motherfucker, you ain't got a home. He don't got a home.
He got to fight on the network somewhere.
He don't got a home, but he don't want to go talk to Al Heyman. So we you know what I'm saying? You got dudes running around here careless talking about, oh, Errol Spence ducking. How is he ducking? How is he ducking?
Right. Ducking what?
If this man know that he has to go sit down and talk to Al Heyman to be able to fight Errol Spence, but he don't want to fight, but he don't want to go talk to Al Heyman. Okay, cool. If Errol Spence go your way, where he going? Where y'all gonna fight at?
Right. Exactly.
Where y'all gonna fight at? You know what I'm saying?
He got to fight on PBC. He got to fight on Showtime or Fox. That's the only choice he got if he gonna fight Errol Spence. He don't have a home.
That's just like me inviting a female to come sleep over with me and I live outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm talking about I'm gonna cook for you, I'm gonna do all this shit, and I live outside. I ain't got a stove in there. The man ain't got a fucking home.
Right.
Cut the bullshit, y'all.
That's what I'm saying. So you gotta have somebody around you, man, that has a business mind. And he don't have anyone but Bernie the boxer. That's the only knucklehead he got. And Bomac, He ain't gonna help you. You know, I don't think he got a great business mind because he got you in the position that you was in the first place.
Bo Mac can't carry Terrence Crawford's career better than I can.
Yeah, yep. No doubt. No doubt. So now what you gonna do? Do like the guys do in the hood, go rent out a club to fight, to throw a party at or something, but throw a fight. I mean,
they
come
gonna
on.
fight at the pool hall, KQ.
Man.
They gonna fight at the pool hall.
So sitting up there waiting on Errol Spence, you need to sit up there trying to find somewhere to get somebody to promote you or something, So I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand his mentality. I don't understand. I know he's quiet, laid back. He's one of the type that don't flash. He's not flashy or he's not talkative, but he's mean as hell. And he don't like to, mingle with the media. He don't like to know people know who he is. Then you got your mama saying she don't love you, and she can't say she love you. That's what she said. And I mean, I don't know. I don't get that. I don't get it's something ain't right there. I'm not shitting on him because he's a great fighter, and I like to see him fight. Got a great boxing IQ. It's just that outside the ring, it's just something ain't right there. Knowing that the man, Bob Aaron, was full of shit before you signed with him, and then after that, he treated like shit. You still re-signed, and it's just something just not right there. I don't understand. So
I don't understand, but for the sake of Bud Crawford, I hope that he do get off that stubborn shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I hope he do get off his fucking stubborn ass pedestal and realize, you know what? It's about more than, just me being stubborn and me not wanting to see another black man make more money than I am if we go in there and fight, because if we get down, if I break it down, it got a lot to do with that. And go over there, holla at motherfucking Al Heyman. I don't like a lot of the shit that Al Heyman do, but if you a fighter on Terrence Crawford level, he gonna get you that bag and he gonna do the best for you if you already on that level. So go over there, holla at Al Heyman, make the biggest fight that can be made in boxing and get off the bullshit.
Exactly.
Batman, you go ahead before we wrap it up.
No,
I know you was talking.
I mean, hopefully, man, Earl pushed the buttons, man. It's up to it's gonna be up to Earl now. When Earl, man, finished with Ugas, man, he called him out, push all the buttons, and if Terrence Crawford don't take the call, then you gotta throw that stamp on him. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You gotta put the stamp on him. That man, Earl did everything he said he was gonna do. If he beat Ugas, he come out and say Terrence Crawford, or right after he beat Ugas and say Terrence Crawford, you next. What's up? And if Terrence Crawford don't go over there to the PPC and try to make the fight, y'all know what it is.
Yeah, and people gotta understand that Terrence Crawford still got a belt, y'all. So he ain't got no home right now, but he gonna have to defend that belt somewhere against somebody.
Yeah.
So he can't go back on top rank to defend it.
Huh?
He can't go back on top rank to defend it.
But so with that being said, right? What other place better than go to PBC? All of the 147-pound fighters are there. All of the 154-pound fighters at PBC. What is the fucking hold up? Go do business with them people.
That's what I'm saying. It's not about the money. We ain't trying to count it. It's about the legacy. It's about what the boxing fans want. And this is a fight. And I said this last year. I said we ain't got 5 years to wait like we did with Florida Manny. Let's get this on the road, because there's no reason why he should be planning a fight with Errol Spence right now, just in case he beats Ugas. Then you can set this up for this year, maybe towards the end of the year, maybe, something like that fall, and get this done while they still in somewhat of their prime, because they not getting younger. These, they 33, 34 now,
I think Terrence Crawford a little older than Spence. I think Spence might be. I'm gonna look it up. I think Spence like 31. I think he the same age as Canelo.
Yeah, Spence 31 and he turns 34.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, see, 37, 38, I think that's the cutoff time to me. If you ain't gonna do, do what you gonna do, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Shit, 36 a cutoff time for real. Cause listen, man, I wanted to say this about the Canelo thing. That's why Canelo went out Floyd. Cause at 36 years old, that's when they think you jive well over your heels. And
exactly.
that's why Canelo went at Floyd in the first place. Cause they thought it was gonna be a close fight and they was gonna try to get Floyd out the fight, man. Just like they do with anybody else, but Floyd had a trick for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and we just
Hey, grab
all we can do as boxing fans is hope for the
your
best,
book,
but
man.
we can't do no
Grab
business with Terrence Crawford. So
so put your
KQ,
book bag on your
let
back.
me put him on mute. Hold on. So KQ, man, let everybody know because we getting ready to wrap it up now.
Okay.
We're gonna go over to BFTV. Let everybody know where to find you at, exactly what time you come on every day. Let them know your schedule, KQ.
Okay, yeah. I'm KQKC Boxing Network. I come on Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m. Central Time. And I do have a call-in show at 10:30 a.m. Central Time on Saturday mornings. Then Saturday night, I will be calling a fight like the Keith Thurman fight this weekend. And also Sunday morning at 9 a.m., me and Knockout Boxing 86 TV. We do a morning after show covering all the fights the night before. And that's about it. Feel free to like and subscribe. And I appreciate you, Keon, letting me on the panel. And even though I did a live, I just wanted to get in on the conversation for a minute. And I appreciate you, brother. And I wanted you to know if you're coming on after me, I can go ahead and let everyone know before I close every day. That's why I wanted to talk to you. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Like I said, my house is your home. Anytime. And y'all make sure that y'all go show love and support to KQKC. If you're not already subscribed to him, make sure that you subscribe to him. It's KQKC Boxing Network.
Yes, sir. Those are my kids' names. That's why.
Yeah. Make sure that y'all go subscribe. Man be cooking. And whether I agree with everything he say or don't agree with everything he say, ain't nobody gonna agree with everything.
Exactly.
But he do keep it straight down the middle, and he gonna give it to you raw, and he gonna keep it 100.
Yes,
and that's what you want. That's what at the end of the day, that's what you want. But yeah, Batman. Let me get your last words before we get up out of here, Batman. And y'all hit the like button. If y'all ain't hit the like button, smash on my like button. Hit the like button. Get the likes up if you ain't hit the like yet. Go ahead, Bat.
Man, like I always say, man, I just want to see the best fight the best, man. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully we get Terrence Crawford and Spencer in like November or October, something like that, September. That's all, Key.
Yeah. Another great show. I appreciate everybody that show support in the chat, in the super chat. My brothers that joined the panel, and we'll be back tomorrow. KQ gonna be on first, and I'm right behind him. So y'all know, and I think they should be having a press conference for Keith Thurman and Mario Barrios tomorrow,
huh? Yeah, that's right. Wednesday. Yep. Sure will be. Yep.
So we might watch, I might put the press conference on. If it's on during the time that I go on, we could all watch that and cook on that too. But I appreciate everybody. If you ain't hit the like button. We out. Y'all already know how I do. There you go talking that boxing again. And I'm gone.
All right, peace.